What's going on? This is Bret from AGFA, and he's in my room. And I've got somebody else with me that's usual here. We'll get to Bret in just a second. But as usual, Dr. Dodson.
Hawk Tua.
Oh, God. That's weird.
I was just doing my impression of the Supreme Court spitting on the Constitution.
All right. So yes, it's the 4th of July.
What did you think?
I think it's been a rough week. Yeah, we won't get into that too much. How we doing, Will?
I'm all right. Really excited to meet Bret, and so far, no explosions in the sky over here. So
there's a ton over here.
It's real bad. I was about to warn everybody of that. The audio in here tonight is going to be pretty rough. My neighborhood is I told Bret last night, I lucked out and I'm like cosplaying as a rich white person. I bought this house before all the prices went up, and everybody in this neighborhood buys hundreds and hundreds, some people thousands of dollars of fireworks, and it's insanity.
Yeah, as you do Blu-rays, they do fireworks.
Yes. We go overboard on different things. AGFA in the house, though. This is an interesting thing. I haven't had a label rep in the room before. Yeah, we're going to talk about AGFA a lot tonight, obviously. But first, why are you in town? What you want to share about your show?
Oh, sure. Yeah. In addition to being on the team at AGFA, I do a weekly live stream myself called Museum of Home Video. And it's found at museumofhomevideo.com, and it's a weekly found footage session for stoners, seekers, archivists, and drinkers. And it's on the theme of showbiz. So it's old talk show clips, old game show clips, commercials. I'll take a movie and I'll cut it down to 8 minutes. I'll cover some new YouTuber content craziness. And it's all kind of in a jumble like you would see on MTV back in the day. And I like MTV. I get on air every 20, 30 minutes and I back announce what you saw and what you're going to see. And so I'm doing a live show here in Kansas City tomorrow at the Stray Cat Film Center. So if you happen to be in the Kansas City area, come on by, meet me, come see some wild stuff.
Awesome. Say that URL again.
It's museumofhomevideo.com. We've been doing a weekly Tuesday night show since July of 2020, and we just hit our 200th episode, and we're not stopping anytime soon.
Bookmarked.
Yeah, we'll get more into the show later. Pickups, Will, what have you been getting recently?
Oh man, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of big sales going on.
A lot of big sales, yeah.
Just today, by coincidence, I picked up a copy of Bat Pussy and Glow.
Thank you.
Some of the few AGFA titles that I didn't have. But my biggest pickups this month have been more traditional, art housey. We've got the Kino Macbeth with both versions. That was a big draw for me.
It's the first time, right, for the other version?
Yeah. Criterion, of course, has been putting out some great titles. I got the 4K of Blood Simple, and I'm a big fan of Dogfight. And I lamented this a couple of shows ago, because I have the cigar box edition of I Am Cuba, and I'm loath to let go of it because it's a cool package and it has a documentary that's not on the Criterion 4K, but I did it anyway. And then finally, one of my all-time favorite movies, and I know Ryan loves it as well, John Wayne and Three Godfathers.
Yeah, not my thing. Everyone needs to get Sex Demon. You want to show?
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's right here.
Nice.
That is one of the very few partner label titles listed on the Melusine site. So don't forget that it exists. I feel like a lot of people don't head over to that other site and deserve to pick up this one. I only got a few things that I was going to talk about. First is the 88 Films Holy Virgin versus the Evil Dead title.
What is that?
It is the way they wrote this copy is amazing. Martial arts action icon Donnie Yen plays Chung, a kung fu fighting Chinese Indiana Jones, forced to take on the challenge. Sorry, it's 88 film, so I'm going to do this on purpose. Forced to taken on the challenge of an ancient supernatural foe. Ken Lo is our hero's nemesis as he tries to protect a magically empowered tribal princess. Chung must also contend with Sergeant Hu, a Hong Kong lady cop. Wow. Determined to crack the same case, and then shot mainly on exotic Thai locations. The Holy Virgin versus the Evil Dead is a fast-paced, genre-blending mix of fierce Hong Kong fistfights and over-the-top horror flick effects. And yeah, it's great. I believe this is the first official HD release. It was released on essentially a bootleg version before. But glad we got that. And then Fun City.
Oh, yeah, this one. So Jonathan Hertzberg from Fun City Editions has been telling me about this one for a while.
This has been a big one, and they've got a couple other big titles coming out. Again, a lot of people kind of forget that Fun City still exists. And then Second Sight, Gonjiam Haunted Asylum came out. I love this movie.
Wow.
One found footage flick. That was a lot of Fs. You
have a lot of Fs to give, Ryan. I appreciate
that's true. Adam says, watch Sex Demon this week. That screwdriver scene. I may never sleep again.
And
let's go to Brett first. Brett, what have you watched recently?
oh boy, I actually haven't seen too much in the way of movies recently, although we did just catch The Autopsy of Jane Doe the other night, which I wasn't expecting to be a supernatural. I thought it would be just strictly a procedural, but it's got a nice supernatural hook in the third act that I appreciated. And yeah, I watched Dune Part 1 again last week. I still haven't seen Part 2. And my boyfriend has been saying that we need to watch the 90s TV movie versions. And I said, no, we don't need to watch the 90s. But he wants to, so we might anyway.
That checks out. What about you, Mr. Will?
What have I been watching? Well, I frantically watched some Vinegar Syndrome movies so that I could post reviews and get like 75 cents.
For your affiliate links. Yeah.
So I watched actually some of the Cinematograph releases. I saw Going South, which isn't very good, but it's interesting.
It's very coked up.
Yeah. Speaking of coked up, Red Rock West. I had actually seen it before, but I didn't remember hardly anything. Since we're getting near 4th of July, I watched a movie that I am absolutely sure is on Benjamin Netanyahu's favorite film list. And The Magician, the silent film that what are these guys called?
Redwood Creek, I think.
Redwood Creek, yeah. It, really beautiful. Not like the greatest story, but really engrossing to watch. And then I watched a bunch of crap on streaming that like has been recommended from people here. Like I saw, this is going to get me killed. I saw X.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
I know it's like
thank you.
It's a bit, like a survey says. So we watched Pearl first, and I thought it was pretty great. I was really surprised. I had never seen a Ty West film before, and I was pleasantly surprised by its innovation and its willingness to go there. And then we watched X, and it just sat there limp on the table. I was shocked that the same person did both.
Yeah, I always think Ty West movies are like gorgeous, but often they're just slow and don't go anywhere for me. Now, I actually like a movie he did called Trigger Man, which I don't think is super popular among Ty West fans, but no accounting for taste, I suppose. But yeah, I didn't care for X. I'll see Pearl. I'm still going to see Pearl and Maxine, so don't at me. Here, I'll end on something that I saw that I actually liked, surprisingly, that Ryan recommended. I saw Bottoms.
Oh, good.
And at first I thought I was going to hate it, but then I didn't.
It's a charming teen comedy.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe not as subversive as it could have been, but more subversive than it probably.
More subversive than most films that get a budget like that in Hollywood nowadays.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I was surprised it got made.
I'm gonna mention a couple from this week. I finally started The Empty Man. I've not finished it yet. Everybody keeps raving. Have you seen The Empty Man?
Is that an Ang Lee movie?
It's a it's a modern.
That's Gemini Man.
Yes, it's a modern 20th Century Fox like folk horror-ish thing. Didn't finish it yet. It has an interesting premise, but it's very indie, very indie. But the big thing. Man, I finally saw Greaser's Palace this week. The Robert Downey Sr. Have you ever seen that one, Will?
Greaser's Palace. No, I don't think I've watched that yet.
Like a weird acid western that makes a lot of choices when it only really needed a few. It's not great. There's not much of a plot. You've seen it, obviously.
It's another cocaine movie.
Very cocaine movie.
But it's charming in its aloofness. And it's got a great stacked cast of character actor weirdos, and also what's his face, the Hervey Villechitz in this. I don't know why I struggled to remember one of the greatest actors of all time. But,
and I think it was the first Robert Downey Jr. on camera.
I think so.
Role. Yeah, it was fun, at least very funny. There's a lot of stuff that is hilarious about it. Hilarious. The beginning, there's this guy that like runs this small town, and somebody comes in and sings for him, and as soon as he gets done, the guy just straight shoots him, and it's the first like tone change in the film. You do not see it coming. It's rather funny.
The lead, I really like the lead, and his name is Alan Arbus, I think. Not Alan Arkish, Alan Arbus.
Alan Arbus was in MASH and was married to the greatest photographer in the history of the world, Deanne Arbus. Yeah.
Greaser's Palace hasn't had a Blu-ray release in like at least 10 years. It was by a small label that I'm forgetting the name of.
I think Scorpion did it.
Yeah, that tracks.
Like 6 years ago.
Long enough.
Yeah, it's been a while. Somebody else needs to do it again. And honestly, that's probably the best part. It is rather wonderfully shot. It is a very pretty movie that kind of didn't need to be, with the way that they're not telling a story. Yes, it is very sort of similar to El Topo. Yeah, that is it for recent pickups and watches. But man, AGFA, before we like lose anybody after the announcements, tell everybody about AGFA.
Oh God. Well, the American Genre Film Archive, or AGFA for short, has been around since, it was actually our 15th anniversary this year. So we've been around since 2008 or 9, depending on who you ask. And it started originally as a nonprofit to save the Alamo Drafthouse's original location in Austin. And they were not on Colorado Street. They were not successful in saving it, but they kept the nonprofit, and they pivoted it to become a film archive because Tim League and Alamo, where they were buying so many film prints in the aughts to show in Austin. And enough people knew about it to the point where they would ask Tim, oh, hey, can I borrow this or that print? And it became formalized as a lending archive. In 2014, we did a Kickstarter for a film scanner and started prepping for our first Blu-ray releases. And those came in 2017, I want to say.
Sounds right.
And we're up to 60-something releases at this point. I don't, my job at AGFA isn't with the Blu-ray label, because in addition to the label, we are also the theatrical representation for all the other labels: Arrow, Severin, Vinegar Syndrome, Shout Factory, Radiance, Troma, Cult Epics, Sub Rosa, and a whole bunch of others. So my job is to get in touch with movie theaters all over the globe and get them the movies they want.
It's a very busy job.
I'm emailing. You saw me emailing last night.
AGFA theatrical. Like, I've never asked, how does that stack up to the studios? Because you guys have like a fucking catalog.
Yeah, it's over 1,800 titles at this point.
Jesus.
It's even too much for me to keep track of. But I don't know. I like to think that we have good customer service, and people get use out of the whole catalog, not just 5 or 10 movies, but like hundreds and hundreds of them. And it's a real thrill and joy for me to be the steward theatrically of movies like Phantasm and Donnie Darko and Ringu, Reanimator, and Sex Demon. Yeah.
If you want to play it theatrically in your town, you know who to contact. On that note, AGFA is a nonprofit, so if you go to the website, you can donate. They are an OCN partner label. You can pick up a lot of stuff that they have on Blu-ray on the Vinegar Syndrome website, including today. They have multiple titles in the $10 sale today. So go check that out. If you have never bought an AGFA Blu-ray, I'm sure everybody in the virtual room will agree, like some of the most usually loaded discs in any of the partner labels, because it's let's throw everything related to this that we possibly can on there because it needs a home. And it's nice.
There's a couple AGFA questions in the chat here. Does AGFA cut off the year of films we archive? No. One of our releases from a year or two ago was Video Diary of a Lost Girl, which is from 2012. So no, the answer's no.
And then the one from this month is mid-90s, I think.
Which, this?
No, not that one. I don't remember the title.
Oh, The Last Slumber Party?
Nope, that was a few months ago. I know this is not exactly your thing. It should be right there. Amanda.
Oh, Amanda and the Alien, the one that we just announced. Yeah, that's a Showtime movie from 1994. So it is technically the 30th anniversary of Amanda and the Alien. Nice. Don't you forget it. Love the Book Hollywood stuff. Can we get more of that? I don't know the answer to that. It's very complicated, and I probably shouldn't talk about it. But the answer is officially, I don't know. But Book Hollywood Super Action Volume 1 that has Bad Black and Who Killed Captain Alex is one of my favorite releases that we've done. It shows off the breadth of things that we can do, and hopefully has expanded some of your horizons out there in Blu-ray land.
This is a good one. Does AGFA work with silent film studio nonprofits? Gage works at Norman Studios in Florida, and he is a huge steward for silent film.
I don't think we've done a silent film release yet. We're still hacking away at the Something Weird video canon, so that's really like one of our main focuses. But never say never.
Interesting. The hard part with AGFA is it's really difficult to just say, hey, check out AGFA, because they literally have every genre. So if there's something that you want to ask about, or hey, this is something that I like, is there anything similar to that? The answer is probably yes. Just shout something out, and I guarantee there's people in the chat and us, we can all recommend something. But we've all got favorite discs we're going to talk about tonight. There's a lot to discuss. Go ahead, Will.
I'm resisting the urge to say my all-time favorite Something Weird release that has not yet been released by AGFA. I have no idea if it ever will be, but I hope it might be someday.
He might not be able to say something, but he might be able to wink. You could say something.
Yeah, go for it.
Blood Freak.
There's an off-the-record answer to that. There's a rights holder to that. That is.
God damn it! I hate rights holders.
I agree.
I mean, there would be nothing that would make my life more complete than for us to do the evil turkey-headed monster thing movie from Florida.
Anti-drug Christian movie. Yeah, I love that so much. Well,
all these names getting shouted out in the comments. We're going to be talking about a lot of these tonight.
Yeah, so many great releases. I'm not complaining at all.
One person you work with a lot, Lisa Petrucci. Can you explain Something Weird for somebody that's never seen any of their stuff?
Sure. In the late 80s, early 90s, at a time when the interest in all the 50s, 60s, 70s exploitation films was just starting to rise, Mike Vraney out in Seattle started this label as a bootleg tape label, but then quickly became a more legit overground label. And Lisa was Mike's partner in crime for many, many years. Sadly, and you will know their releases by their distinctive cover art and spine art. If you have a video store in your area that still has maybe a scant VHS section, I urge you to just check them out and like hold them in your hand and touch history. But Lisa is still going strong up in Seattle. She has pivoted something weird to doing soundtrack releases and books. So she's still very, very active, and she's a great friend to AGFA, and I count her as a personal hero.
She's really great. I need to get her on the show.
You need to get her on this show. Yeah.
We have somebody who says, sure do hope AGFA will release the Isabel Sarli film Fuego.
Then not Fuego. Fuego. Fuego is one of the greatest something weird video releases of all time. I don't know if there's any film materials left on it. Maybe it'll pop up somewhere someday. I don't know. But Fuego haunts my nightmares. And rest assured, we have not forgotten about Fuego.
Dr. Dodson, anything else you want to highlight before we go into our announcements?
Oh, like favorite releases?
Anything that you want to talk about? We're going to talk about AGFA releases after.
Oh, after?
Yeah.
At like 4 a.m. when we finish all these?
Like that, yeah.
Well, then I will save it for them.
All right. We got a lot of stuff to cover this week. It's the first of the month, so we've got Arrow, Shout Factory, all of the Vinegar Syndrome, OCN partner labels. We're probably going to get some inside information on Amanda when we get there, and yeah, we will chat some more. First up, Arrow in the UK releasing all of the Alex de la Iglesia films that Severin has put out. We've got, they're calling it Love, Death, and Apocalypse, 3 films by Alex de la Iglesia. This is coming on September 23rd, all 3 on 4K. Day of the Beast, Perdita Durango, and Acción Mutante. They've got some brand new commentaries, new features on this, plus all kinds of archival features. I happen to like these movies quite a bit. Have you seen these?
Yeah. Perdita Durango is incredible. It's the Lost Tarantino movie. It's very, very sharp. It's like 1997. Rosie Perez is great. Javier Bardem gives a career-defining batshit performance. You will never see him as out there as in Perdita Durango.
Plus James Gandolfini in that too.
Mm-hmm. Alex Cox shows up in a cameo.
Great movie. Any of these that you've seen, Will? I think you've seen 1 or 2 of these, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a big Perdita Durango Perdita Durango fan as well. In fact, our oldest daughter, who's turning 22 next week, proudly wears the Severin Perdita Durango T-shirt all the time. Yes. I actually watched that with her, which I recognized halfway through was a bad idea, but we went for it.
Good films. Recommend if you don't have the Severin, go for it. Next up is a 4K of Torso. This is coming in the U.S. from Arrow on September 17th. As far as I can tell, no new features, and it's the same art. However, if you go to the Arrow store, you can get this exclusive original slip poster art. Torso. Have you seen Torso?
I have seen parts of Torso, but I will never forget the trailer for Torso. So after this episode ends, I highly recommend you all go elsewhere on YouTube and you look up the 30-second television spot for Torso. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie, good release. Yeah, it's definitive. Going up next is Friday the 13th, 2009. Gets a 4K in the US from Arrow Video.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah, we get a 4K of the theatrical cut and a 4K of the killer cut. We got multiple new commentaries on this, including by the director, the writers, new interviews with some of the crew associated with this, and then an exclusive video essay about why horror fans shouldn't fear remakes by critic Matt Donato. How do you feel about Friday the 13th as a whole, Brett?
Like the whole franchise?
Sure, why not?
I mean, I grew up with it.
Yeah.
It's something that's nostalgic and warm and fuzzy for something so brutal and ridiculous. I do love part 5. I do love part 8. I do love part 7. I think part 4 is overrated. 3 is maybe my favorite because it's the first I saw, for sure. And I think I did see it on either HBO or just broadcast television. Can't remember.
What about the remake? Did you ever catch the remake?
I did catch the remake when my boyfriend and I, when we watched the entire franchise. We chugged to the end to get to it, and we watched it.
I think this is better than a lot of the remakes that came out around then.
My favorite of the 2000s reboot remakes is Hills Have Eyes.
It's the best one by far.
It's the best one.
by far.
Well, as far as remakes starring Supernatural alums, My Bloody Valentine 3D was pretty great.
It is pretty good.
I think Jensen got the better of Jared.
I could see Arrow doing a really nice 3D disc of that one, actually, because that hasn't gotten anything since, I think, like Anchor Bay days. I don't know.
I have a 3D Blu-ray of it, but I can't remember who put it out. Anyway, the best Friday the 13th is part 6.
That's what everybody says.
Oh,
Oh no, but it's the most fun for people who like traditionally fun horror movies.
yeah. I don't know. The thing about like who is afraid? I'm not afraid of remakes. I mean, like that awesome John Wayne movie I held up, Three Godfathers. That was the third version of that particular movie. It had been done as a silent film, and William Wyler had done a version as well. Or William Wyler did the silent version, actually. I just didn't like the Friday the 13th remake. I didn't think it was very good. I saw it in the theater and was underwhelmed.
It's probably the 6th or 7th best Friday the 13th.
Yeah, best.
Just like the latest Hellraiser is the 4th best Hellraiser.
Checks out.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'd rank it.
Then we are getting a Blu-ray of The Threat from 1966. This is a Kinji Fukasaku film. This is coming on September 23rd in the UK and then September 24th in the US and Canada. This one, we've got a new audio commentary by Tom Mess. Still doing some stuff with Arrow, which is nice. New 20-minute video appreciation by Mark Schilling. And then we got a double-sided fold-out poster on this one and an illustrated booklet with new writing by Haley Scanlon. I've never seen this one.
I've never heard of this one. I do know of Tom Mess. I'm blanking on the name of his old website where he was like reviewing nothing but Japanese rarities. And he was the first person that I knew of to write about Takashi Miike that I could read.
Right. And he's doing a lot with Radiance nowadays. Radiance is hitting some of that Asian films. They're hitting them hard. Like art house, great Asian, like great Yakuza films that nobody has seen. Yeah, good stuff. And then I believe this is their last title. We are getting The Chronicles of Riddick on 4K to go with their Pitch Black release. This is also coming in the UK and in the US and Canada. You get a 4K release. Then if you're still Blu-ray only, you get a Blu-ray release of this one. I was never a big fan of this franchise series, whatever you want to call it, but I know it was kind of big. Either of you into it?
I feel like I saw the first 10 minutes of Pitch Black, and that was about it. I'm not necessarily a Vin Diesel hater. I just have never been gravitated towards his body of work. Although I hear Triple X is fun.
I've heard that as well.
Yeah, I've seen so many people with tattoos of it on the back of their neck that I figure like it's worth a shot.
It better be decent.
I don't know if that would attract me to it.
All right, that is Arrow, and then we got some Imprint Asia releases.
Ooh, someone finally did this one by Takashi Kitano.
Takeshi Kitano.
Takeshi Kitano.
Brother from 2000, coming from Imprint Asia on September 25th. We've got some new special features coming. They've not announced them yet, but you can check it out now. This is one I think this is the first Blu-ray release, right?
That I've seen.
Yeah.
Beat Takeshi's movies when I was a manager of a video store in LA called Cinephile Video, which is still there. You should, if you live in LA, you should go visit Cinephile. The Beat Takeshi movies rented constantly.
They're great.
And I don't know if his star has fallen any in the last 10, 15 years, but I guess with Blu-ray releases like this, it'll finally get back. His stuff gets back.
Yeah. And Third Window's done like a handful of them. So thankfully somebody's still doing it. Will, have you seen this one? I know you check out a bunch of the more indie Asian titles.
No, I haven't seen this one. Love Kitano. I love a movie of his, Seen by the Sea. You ever seen that one? Love that film. So this will be a definite watch for me.
Love that comment. Yeah, this looks great. And then the next Imprint Asia title is Cliff Walkers. This is from 2021, and this is a Zheng Yimou film. And the hard part, no features on this one whatsoever. We got some trailers, but that is it. I feel like that's been the case on a couple of the Zhang Yimou films, so there might be something there. Yeah, not seen this one.
Haven't heard of it.
Rather new. I've heard of this one though. Jackie Chan's Ride On from 2023 is the third Imprint Asia film coming in September. Have not heard great things about this. It is a very
So it's him and a talking horse,
just
a horse.
I believe he played a stuntman that retired, and then he had to ride the horse again and come back and save people, sort of thing.
Oh, sounds like a kids film or something.
That's Jackie Chan, yeah. Washed up stuntman and his stunt horse become an overnight social media sensation when their real life fight with debt collectors goes viral.
Feel good.
Yeah. Then Warner Archive came out of nowhere and announced August 27th we are getting Top Cat, the complete series on Blu-ray. This one, we've got some good features. We got a documentary, Back to Hoagie's Alley, the making of Top Cat. We got commentaries on multiple episodes, some archival interviews.
Oh my God, it has interviews with Arnold Stang and Marvin Kaplan. This is like a banner day for animation fans. So Arnold Stang, you may not know his face, but he sounds like this. He talks like this. And then the other Marvin, the guy I just mentioned, he was on Alice. And he talks like this. He's a little bit more like this.
Perfect for Top Cat. Reminds me of last night we were talking about Bill Lustig. Yeah, this looks great, and Warner Archive kind of always kills it with their animation releases. Next one from them is Boulevard Nights from 1979. No features on this one other than a trailer, but I believe this is the first Blu-ray release anywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, that's the point of Warner Archive.
Yeah.
It's just, here's the movie.
Thankfully, sometimes they give us something, but not this time. I don't remember if I said it. These are all coming August 27th. Next one is Black Belt Jones.
Hell yeah.
Jim Kelly. This one includes the trailer, and it's the rated R cut. I don't think there was another cut on this one. This was a brand new 4K scan of the OCN. That's pretty great.
Gloria Hendry kicks so much ass in this movie. Big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one that's going to make a lot of people happy, especially with all the martial arts films we've been getting. Three Little Words with Fred Astaire and Red Skelton. This is also coming. This one, we got some featurettes. We got Three Little Words, Two Swell Guys, some classic MGM cartoons, and some audio-only bonus, Paula Stone's Hollywood USA radio promo.
Is Red Skelton the guy who always went, "Good night and God bless"? Is that him? Or is that Red Buttons? I get the two mixed up.
I haven't seen the Red Skelton thing in a long, long time. Man, everybody's talking about Maxine in the comments now. Those top two actors were in the gas station scene, and It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World.
Oh, yeah. Arnold Stang and Marvin Kaplan. It's true. Versus Jonathan Winters. That's the team.
For the record, you're right. That was Red Skelton.
And somebody said it sounded like Gilbert Gottfried.
I mean, they all do. Because Gilbert Gottfried did impressions of all these people. That's how I know who they are.
Next is Words and Music with Perry Como, Judy Garland, Lena Horne, Gene Kelly, Mickey Rooney. This is from 1948. Again, we got some featurettes. We got a commentary. We've got some cartoons. This one's actually a pretty loaded disc. The biggest musical, 22 songs on this. Jeez.
So there's probably no plot. It's just words and music.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Title.
Both of these are definites for me.
Yeah, it's a very Will sort of movie.
It is.
I didn't say that as a joke. You're right. We are still getting some Severin titles. This is one that they announced in this last week. This is Eloy de la Iglesia's The Creature from 1977. I believe, first official North American release ever for this one. This one is supposed to be great. We got an interview with the assistant director, Alejo Lauren. Gaspar Noé speaks about Eloy de la Iglesia on this. And he introduces this at the Cinematheque Francois back in 2023. He's been doing a few things with Severin. Did that Severin Seller video. Andrew Furtado from Severin and I were talking about it after we met him. And it all came down to Andrew met him, I think, at the New Bev. and then all this stuff started happening with Severin. So, yeah, this one's supposed to be great.
If none of you have seen Cannibal Man yet, I highly urge you to get that disc. That one, I was very cynical about it going in. It sounded just kind of dry on paper. It totally ripped my head off. I was not prepared for it.
Oh yeah, so good.
Good movie. Good cover too. I really like the art they used on that one. Yeah. Everybody's saying dog movies. Kinky films are even better, says John.
I've been waiting to see Navajeros and El Pico, and it's been on my list.
Next up, Deaf Crocodile, who's in the chat. Just a reminder to everybody, this is now available to order from Diabolic. This is the deluxe edition that is shipping at the end of July. This is the Savage Hunt of King Stack. You got multiple versions. You got just the disc here in the case. You've got the deluxe edition that comes in this hard box with a not hardbound. It's one of those like fancy bound books. And then you can have the deluxe bundles. These are $75. Comes with a coin related to the film, all these art cards, and some film specific trading cards. This is a lot. So much in this. But yeah, this looks great. Art on this is beautiful. Check it out. Some people saying they subscribe to Deaf Crocodile. That is over now. So if you wanted to, hopefully you got in there. But yeah, all of June it was open. Hopefully it did well for them. Looking forward to see what's coming. Aces High coming from Kino Lorber on August 27th. This is a Blu-ray. This was announced previously, so now we're getting all the details. Howard S. Berger, fan and friend of the channel, is going to be on this one with Steve Mitchell doing a commentary, and then some archival interviews are on this one as well. Aces High. Have you seen this one?
No.
Neither
has anybody else.
That's a Kino title for you.
Yeah.
This is new, but I love me some war movies.
Yeah, and I love me some Howard Berger. I've met him many, many times in Los Angeles. He has a totally unique point of view and sense of humor.
Howard's fun. He will be back on Thursday night here soon. Heads up to everybody.
Wow, this happened. Orca, I've been waiting for this to come out.
Well, it gets even better with worse art, though. So September 2nd on Blu-ray, the UK is getting Orca the Killer Whale as part of Cult Classics from the Studio Canal line. It got a brand new 4K restoration, and there's an interview on here. That's it, though. But then you can also get a 4K disc in this really awful-looking steelbook. It's the exact same disc as the other one, just has the interview, but it's a UHD rather than a Blu-ray, and it comes with that art.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this at all.
You have to just grin and bear it, because Orca is one of the wildest studios of the late 70s, just like period. Richard Harris is on fire, and Charlotte Rampling is really funny.
It's a great movie.
There's this amazing opening scene where it's like one of those tropes where they're explaining the thing that you're up against. Like the scientist is explaining the phenomenon. There's like a PowerPoint, like a slideshow presentation, and she keeps saying Orca. It was one of my favorite discoveries of the lockdown era. It's Orca.
Strongly recommend Orca. Good movie. Sibner says, you just know Scream Factory is getting this. I believe they already put this out.
Oh, really?
I think so. Let me make sure I'm not just talking out of my ass. But yeah, I believe it's on.
I feel like I would have it.
Sure enough. Came out in June of 2020 from Scream.
What the H?
Yep. I've got it right over there.
Oh, I do have it.
Oh, that's a collector for you.
I couldn't remember if I'd upgraded my DVD or not.
Brian says, if you like cool Orca cover art, look up the Laserdisc covers. The Scream Factory's out of print. That explains it.
Oh, no.
That's what everybody has said.
This happened.
Kino is releasing Best Defense from 1984 with Eddie Murphy and Dudley Moore at some point, and it got a 4K scan of the OCN.
That's, in a word, that's absurd. This is a movie that even HBO wants to pretend didn't exist back in the day.
but directed by the same guy who made Messiah of Evil.
Yeah.
And Howard the Duck.
And Howard the Duck.
Yeah, and wrote American Graffiti.
Yep.
Right. Well, just goes to show you.
Unfairly maligned. Sir, have you watched it? Even Eddie Murphy said it was bad when it came out.
Enough about Dudley Moore. Graveyard Shift getting a 4K release from Kino Lorber. Good movie. It's been out on physical media 100 times, so not surprised whatsoever by this. Any thoughts? Graveyard Shift, everybody?
It's just a good watch, and it's got one of the wildest fake accents I've ever heard in a movie. And Stephen Macht does the Mainer accent, and it's something to behold. So definitely check this one out.
I love Maine accents.
How do you feel about Graveyard Shift, Will?
You know what? I've never seen it.
Never seen it. This was a lockdown first time watch for me too.
Yeah, it's real grim and gross.
Those are two things that I like.
Yeah,
good movie.
It's I like it better than Pet Sematary. I know that's controversial, but you know,
I don't love Pet Sematary either.
I don't like Pet Sematary either. Pet Sematary 2, classic. I can watch that all day.
It's unique. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Next one, season 2 of Reacher from Paramount comes on September 17th on Blu-ray and DVD, and that's happening. Yeah. All right.
What channel was that on?
I think Amazon Prime, or no, Paramount Plus, I think.
Oh, so that means no one saw it.
Speaking of things hardly anybody saw, the new Costner film Horizon.
Wait, so it's already coming out?
You can buy it.
Okay.
No release date yet. Yeah, you can pre-order this Horizon 4K Steelbook. A lot of people up in arms, because the picture on the inside here, this is from the after credits scene, and technically it's from the second film. They did a Back to the Future thing where next time on Horizon.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody who's seen this yet, but I do have to give it up for what looks like Kevin Costner's Southland Tales.
Yeah, and huge cast in it, obviously, to compare it to Southland Tales. And it's honestly, a lot of people are saying they love it.
Yeah, I'll probably check this one out in 17 to 20 years from now.
Part 2 already comes out in August. Jesus, Costner's been busy.
It's definitely a big swing, and we have to appreciate when people put their money where their mouth is and decide that they're going to blow their entire fortune on one product. Well, 4 productions, I guess. It's making me think that a Horizon Megalopolis double feature is in my future.
Next up is Back to Black. This is coming from Universal on July 23rd. Blu-ray and DVD, you got a handful of featurettes. They, as usual, Universal's been doing this a lot. They've got 3 featurettes, and they write 40 words about each of them to make it look like they have tons of special features. Mm-hmm. But there's a commentary, which for something like this is kind of rare nowadays. Yeah, this supposedly didn't do too well.
I heard it was unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want me to buy the Blu-ray. I said no.
Next, August 26th, Blu-ray and DVD in the UK from Studio Canal's Nothing But the Best. This is coming from the Vintage Classics line. This is supposed to be really great. Fans of deep-cut British humor are supposed to love this. Harry Andrews and Millicent Martin in this as well. Brand new 4K restoration, some interviews behind the scenes. How do you feel about British humor there, Brett?
Oh, I mean, I love British humor. I think this looks potentially more interesting for the British cinematography, which that era is just peerless, 60s and 70s. Yeah.
I also really like this cover. It's pretty plain, but something about it's very British.
Well, it definitely connotes what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I love Alan Bates, man. He's the best.
Good stuff. Then Scream Factory, making a lot of people happy and pissing some people off. Creepshow has been released on 4K multiple times already from Scream Factory. Now it's going wide. Instead of just a Walmart, you can buy this anywhere. This will be in their Steelbook on September 3rd from Amazon, their website, and literally anywhere you buy stuff. Same with the Blu-ray Steelbook of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Same date and everything. But enough about the re-releases. Doomsday getting a 4K release from Shout on September 17th.
I barely remember this.
Yeah.
Oh man, I saw this in a completely deserted theater. I was totally alone watching the late night showing. It was like at 10:30 p.m. and I had loved The Descent and Dog Soldiers, but I was not prepared for the level of mashup that this movie represents. It's like Mad Max meets Lady Hawk meets Dawn of the Dead meets 28 Days Later. And it's funny and it's amazing. The action is amazing, and I love this movie. So I'm really excited to upgrade.
I don't think I've ever seen this one. And once again, Scream Factory doing what pisses off a lot of people. The theatrical cut is going to be on the 4K disc. And then on the Blu-ray disc, we have the theatrical cut again on Blu-ray. And then the third disc, the unrated cut, also on Blu-ray, not 4K. But they also went further and said, we did do a 4K scan of the unrated cut, but you can't have a UHD.
Well, if it's any comfort, I think the theatrical cut is actually better.
Is this a movie that looks low budget but that it, like, makes it feel great, or is it like an enormous production that no one saw back in the day?
I mean, it wasn't super high budget, but it looked great, I thought. Definitely looked more expensive than I think it actually was. I thought it was ripe for a sequel, but I guess it didn't do very well, I don't believe. Yeah. But yeah.
Gage says Doomsday was the first thing I rented on Redbox.
Ooh. I heard Redbox. Well, the company that owns Redbox went bankrupt like last week.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for the future of Redbox?
Yeah, it does not bode well. We got a bunch of new features on this, surprisingly. We got a new commentary with David J. Moore, the author of World Gone Wild, Survivor's Guide to Post-Apocalyptic Movies.
Yeah.
We've got interview with Neil Marshall himself, interview with producer, interview with Craig Conway, interview with the production designer, Simon Bowles, interview with a bunch of people on this, and then an interview with Adrian Lester as well.
Let's clarify. His name's Bowles.
Yeah, I guess. I was reading quickly. Vowels would have been funny. Why not? I've never seen Doomsday, but Neil Marshall, I feel like his stuff is either really great or really, really poor.
What's really poor?
The Lair, is that the newest one that came out?
Okay, I haven't seen that yet.
Did not like even a minute of that one.
Did you see Centurion?
Was that was a Neil Marshall movie?
Yeah, with Olga Kurylenko. Wait, hold on. I might have said the name of a Pretty Boy movie. It's no, it's a different movie called Centurion. Okay, I'm right. 2010, Michael Fassbender and Olga Kurylenko.
That's probably why I didn't remember. I don't love Fassbender.
Well, you love Olga Kurylenko.
Doesn't balance out.
Dominic West.
Well, let's go to the next Scream Factory.
It doesn't matter who's in it. It's an amazing movie.
Understood. They got the rights back to Dances with Wolves, and to the chagrin of everyone, it's a Blu-ray only steelbook release again, not a 4K. Kind of surprised they didn't go 4K for this one from the studio, considering what he's doing right now.
Well, never trust the studios to do the right thing.
True.
Yeah, like when they made this movie in the first place, that was the wrong thing to do.
Anyways, you can buy that on September 10th.
It's weird to think that Kevin Costner has a Best Director Oscar, but Kubrick did not ever.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't this the one that beat Goodfellas? Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Just goes to show you the Oscars are a sham.
All right, making our way to OCN. First up, Vinegar Syndrome doing a 4K of Reptilicus from 1961. This is exactly a year after they did the 4K of Gorgo. How do you feel about Reptilicus? Have you seen it?
Never saw it.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun.
Is this an American movie or a European movie?
It is
or
a
Asian
Danish movie.
Danish movie.
Like if you watch it now, you can find a lot of metaphors that or analogies to like that'll be relevant to the current political situation there.
I love this sentence. One of the great bad giant monster flicks.
I recommend the Danish Cut.
And the Danish Cut specifically, I believe this is the first time in HD, and that is going to be the U.S. disc debut of the alternate 95-minute version known as the Danish Cut on this. We got a commentary with Nicholas Barbineau and novelist and critic Kim Newman. I'm reading three different sentences at once. We've got a new retrospective with Robert Parigi and C. Courtney Joyner on this. Interview with Jay Jennings. Stephen Bissett is on this as well, on Reptilicus and its enduring legacy. This had been released previously in the U.S. as a double feature with Tentacles from Scream Factory. And Tentacles is now with Kino Lorber. And I saw a lot of people say, pick up Reptilicus from Vinegar Syndrome and then Tentacles from Kino and you'll be set. Unfortunately, I want to remind people the Kino of Tentacles kind of sucks. Get the Tentacles from 88 Films if you're region free. They have a ton of special features on there.
Reptilicus was also on a pretty good episode. I know not everybody likes Mystery Science Theater 3000, but they did a pretty good job with Reptilicus, I thought.
I have to say, for the record, that MST3K was my entry point into genre movies, and it didn't affect my ability to enjoy them. I can enjoy laughing at and with and without. So, for all those MST3K haters out there, just go watch another movie or something.
I think it's the entry point for a lot of people in the genre film.
Absolutely.
Next from VS is a Chinese torture chamber story, 1 and 2 double feature. This is from 1994 and 1998. These are, I believe, both Cat 3 films. And we've got commentaries with Sam Deegan and Frank Zhang. We got an alternate 92-minute Mandarin language edit of a Chinese torture chamber story with new subs. New interview with Wang Jing. There is a video essay by Justin DeClue, and then a visual essay by Erica Schultz, who is from Unsung Horrors from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. So check out this release specifically. This is supposed to be a great one. I've been very excited for this to be coming. And yeah, a lot of people love these in the chat. Have you seen these?
No, I'm pretty deficient in category 3 myself. Yet another category at my video store where a ton of people rented them, but I never got into it at the time.
Same. I'm enjoying my curated education. Between this and listening to the old episodes of Twitch of the Death Nerve, I'm filling in the gaps in my knowledge.
Love this comment. They're not actual Cat 3 films because Anthony Wong isn't in them. VT says, I think this is Vincent's first Cat 3 release.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Well, Ebola Syndrome is definitely Cat 3.
Yeah,
and that was a couple years ago.
Untold Story?
That was Unearthed.
Okay.
But they also, I think Black Cat was Cat 3 as well. That was a lot of the word cat there, and I'm not sure now. What's up, Ice? Let's see what else. The next one. This has been.
Oh yeah. So these two movies, Intrepidos Punks and Venganza de los Punks, were for years and years like hot items on the bootleg circuit.
Right.
And I chuckled when I heard that these were being done up because I was like, well, are people ready for these? I don't know.
I think VS first hinted that these were coming literally like 2018 or 2019, and then they got canceled. Something happened. And then they announced them literally again, and then they got canceled again. And then this year, that's why at the beginning of the year for Subscriber Week in January, they said Intrepidos Punks is coming. And then in parentheses, it said, this time for real. Mm-hmm. And here it is, finally, as a double feature. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from their 35mm OCNs. We've got a making of doc with a bunch of interviews. We've got making of on both films, actually. We got a booklet with an essay by Claudia Pretelin, and new subs on these. Yeah, I've been excited for Intrepidos Punks for a long time.
Can you handle it?
I hope so. Oh, man. There is a lot of good comments. I prefer Cat 6, better data rates.
Oh, yes. Yes,
There we
yes.
go.
This is one that I'm on the commentary track for. I had the director who, after he did some movies for Showtime in the 90s, went completely into the reality TV production world. And he came over to my house in LA and we recorded this track, and I was very grateful. He was a lot of fun to talk to. But yeah, this is the 30th anniversary of Amanda and the Alien, and it was a movie for Showtime in 1994. It's got Michael Dorn from Next Generation, and it's got Nicole Eggert, who was on Baywatch.
I think so, for at least 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah, and it's based on a Robert Silverberg short story. Robert Silverberg is one of the great sci-fi authors of the 60s, 70s, 80s. Originally published in Omni magazine, I think.
Yeah, this is a big one. A lot of people very excited about this. We had a visual essay on this and then an audio essay as well. There's an out of this world 35mm trailer reel. The AGFA trailer reels are always amazing. Recommend just for those. Do you know how many are in there? Did you have anything to do with that? Probably not.
No. I often find out what the special features are after the disc comes out. Because again, I do theatrical stuff and not the home video stuff.
You've done what, 3 or 4 commentaries, I think?
Yeah, I'm on a couple alongside Liz Purcell, Gay Girls Writing Club.
Yep.
Sometimes Aunt Martha. I'm on the AGFA Horror Trailer Show track, and then the intermission time track, and a few others.
Yeah,
I as soon as they happen, they leave my brain. I forget it.
Jeff says only new title I ordered this month.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this is AGFA. You can pre-order this now. It comes shipping at the end of July.
Oh, and this cover art is an original painting by one of my AGFA team members, Alicia Coombs.
Wow. Well done. Can't wait to get that one in.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, another one that sold very quickly and also in a way related to AGFA.
Oh,
yeah, all kinds of relations.
Yeah. So Joe Ziemba, who's AGFA's creative director, also has been doing Bleeding Skull for 20 years. And so he and his partner, Annie Choi, so Bleeding Skull had a lot of releases, joint releases with AGFA, and then they broke off and they started their own label. And I'm super happy for them. And it's this is the kind of thing that is like so square in Joe's zone, you know.
Way Bad Stone. People have been asking about this for a couple years, at least on Blu-ray. And now that it's here, I got multiple messages this day saying finally when this was announced. This is a big deal. This is one of the ones that ends up on a lot of people's favorite SOV lists type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 50-minute commentary with the director, 38-minute commentary with the writer and producer. We got some shorts on this, plus a bonus movie, Ionopsis from 1997. That's probably not how you say it. It is a spiritual sequel to Way Bad Stone. That's really cool. And if you want the slipcover, it's too damn bad because it sold out freaking immediately, just like every other Bleeding Skull title.
Oh, so it's only a limited title?
No, you can get the standard
cover.
Yes, the standard may have sold out by this point too. I'm not sure.
Wow.
This was the first Bleeding Skull release that I actually did manage to get the slipcover for.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, only 171 left of the standard. It'll be back though. It's not going to be out of print. But yeah, this sold out in like 2.5, 3 hours, something like that, from being announced. Maybe not even that long. This is crazy. Bleeding Skull, every single time they've released a title, which I think we're at three. Yeah. They've all sold out day one, which is wildly impressive. It feels like they probably should up to 2,000.
You never know. OCN has mysterious ways.
Yeah. How do you feel about Way Bad Stone? I'm sure you.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I'm actually quite deficient in the SOV canon. I love Boarding House. I love Things. I love Sledgehammer, and Hallucinations, the Polonia Brothers, and all that. But this is one that I have yet to see.
Brendan says, discovered Way Bad Stone years ago and have been singing its praises to everyone. Can't believe it got a release. It's a big deal. Next one is The Bitter Ash by Larry Kent. This is a Canadian International Pictures title. This is from 1963, just past the 6-year anniversary. Region A locked, newly scanned in 4K from the 16 millimeter negatives. We had a new commentary by Stephen Broomer. He is the guy that is doing the experimental label up in Canada right now, so he knows his Canadian pictures for sure. We had an archival commentary on there, some new interviews, and then what is pretty cool, we've got Kent and Scarf's first film called Hastings Street from 2007. They worked on this thing since 1962 and completed it 45 years later. And then you've got a silent version of that same film. Lots of history associated with this one.
I have not seen any Larry Kent movies, but combat shock filmmaker Buddy Giovinazzo made a point to tell me in a conversation I had with him, you have to see the Larry Kent movies. And if that guy is telling me I have to see it, then you know these are pretty twisted for their time, you know?
Right.
And a huge fan of CIP. I cannot say the title, but they are at some point soon releasing my absolute favorite Canadian film ever. So feel free to speculate.
Well, I'm curious about that. And going to the next one. The Night Caller, coming from Dark Star Pictures. This is from 2021. Another one of their like indie horror that they've been doing recently. This one is going to have a making of, deleted alternate scenes, some trailers, a commentary, and then your normal stuff. I feel like Dark Star is releasing a lot of the same type of films every single month. But they must have some sort of fan base.
Yeah, I don't know this one. I don't know it at all.
What was that face for, Will?
I don't know what face.
I'm not sure. You looked flummoxed with this release. I'll leave it at that. Going to the next one.
Well, Bai Ling is in it. I mean, I don't know. Like, these are all a lot of these contemporary films that some of the labels are putting out. I'm like, wow, I totally missed them.
Well, Dark Star, I believe most of the stuff he gets are like festival babies that don't get releases anywhere else.
Right.
So I would say most people have missed them.
Yeah. So I've been really happy with a lot of the Dark Star titles. So I'm interested in checking this one out.
All right. Next up is from a new partner label. This is from Cartoona.
Oh, this movie. Oh, this is Penny Lane.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. She's an incredible filmmaker. If any of you have never seen R. Nixon, you see that. And then see Nuts.
Nuts is from 2016. And this, let's look at the back of the cover because it's the funniest part.
Oh, and Hail Satan. Yeah, that movie's great. She's an incredible filmmaker. See all of her stuff.
Cartoona is a cartoon company and indie film distributor focused on animation, puppetry, DIY art, and alt comedy. Enjoy our personal collection of films. Our artist will thank you. Nuts recounts the unbelievable true story of John Romulus Brinkley, a Kansas doctor who in 1917 discovered that he could cure impotence by transplanting goat testicles into men. From there, the story only gets more bizarre. Yeah.
And Penny Lane was a college professor of AGFA's Alicia Coombs. Full circle.
Amazing. This has all kinds of stuff on there. We've got the Brinkley Archive, a trailer addressed to patients making a record, some home movies from Brinkley. And then the big thing to talk about is I believe it was last month, the team behind Hundreds of Beavers announced that they had agreed to film distribution for the U.S. with a small company at the time nobody was talking about called Cartoona. So there is a big possibility that we will get an OCN release of Hundreds of Beavers, which is topping everybody's list for favorite films of the year. So
I know people like this movie, and charitably, I will say Hundreds of Beavers is not for me. I hit play on it because I did want to see, okay, what is everyone talking about? I lasted 2.5 seconds. and then I hit the space bar and I went, I gotta take a breather. And then I went outside and then I came back after walking around the block a few times and I watched about 5 minutes of it and I was like, it's not for me. But I do appreciate that it's been such an explosive like theatrical hit, and it's really revitalized a lot of talk about cult movies and midnight movies.
Yep. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Is it very like I've heard it was live action Looney Tunes? Is that how the first 2.5 seconds felt?
It's a 2-hour screensaver.
Oh,
but with a lot of visuals and jokes.
Now I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Chris on Facebook. 20 years ago, I would never think I would buy a Blu-ray with a slipcover of a goat's nuts on it, but here I am. That's amazing. Next title. This one intrigued the hell out of me. Decanalog releasing Mami Wata from 2023. And speaking of striking slipcovers, this thing looks beautiful. This says, in the oceanside village of Ayi, the Reverend Mama Efe acts as an intermediary between the people and the all-powerful water deity Mami Wata. But when a young boy is lost to a virus, Efe's devoted daughter Zinwei and skeptical protege Prisha warn Efe about unrest among the villagers. With the sudden arrival of a mysterious rebel deserter named Jasper, a conflict erupts, leading to a violent clash of ideologies and a crisis of faith for the people of Ayi. Yeah, this sounds great. This is one of the Nigerian submissions for the Academy Award for Best International Feature for this last year. And then this is going to have a commentary with the writer and director, a making of, a whole bunch of stuff on here, outtakes, deleted scenes, a booklet essay, and more. This, to me, seems like an obvious must-buy.
I mean, I've never heard of this, but the cover looks arresting. It's just a provocative, incredible image.
Yeah. By amazing coincidence, I just read a book about the colonial and post-colonial history of Nigeria, and really fascinating history under what's the word? It's not well known outside, it's for Western cultures. And so when this movie was announced right after I finished the book, I was like, of course. So I've ordered this. I can't wait to see it.
All right. Next up is Enjoy the Ride Records putting out another documentary, Nintendo Quest from 2015. I don't know if this is just sort of their thing now. They have moved to doing this literally every single month. This is about Nintendo Quest, the most unofficial and unauthorized Nintendo documentary ever. It's got an audio commentary, deleted scenes, extended interviews. A 9-episode follow-up series is on the disc as well. So yeah, if you're into it, check it out.
So this, I thought, like when I first saw the cover and everything, I was like, oh, okay, some YouTube documentary about 8-bit Nintendo. But then when I actually read what it's about this guy who's trying to collect every single 8-bit release, then I got intrigued. I kind of do want to see this now.
Yes, a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
Next up is Go Down Death. This is coming from Factory 25. This is, I had to edit the back of the slip, of course. This is a wry, sinister realization of a strange new universe, a cross-episodic melange of macabre folktales. This is going to have a deleted scenes on here, behind-the-scenes booklet with writing by the director in here. And Factory 25 pretty much does just great work all the time. They're one of the more exciting ones to watch.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Will?
What's up?
Any thoughts on this one?
I immediately thought of Going Down on Death and what that would be like. So that's why I was sitting here quietly. I was kind of picturing like different permutations of what that would be.
Depends on which Final Destination sequel you're watching, I guess. E-Toy gives a nice reminder that Go Down Death is included on the Anti-World's Chained for Life Blu-ray. If you've got that, that's the UK like sister label of Indicator. Anti-Worlds. Next up is Film Movement. They are doing the 2-film collection of My Father's Glory, My Mother's Castle. If I remember right, I think this was released previously by them, and this is literally just putting it in a slipcover. And
that's what British people call their genitals.
Oh, your name is literally Willie. Come on. Yes, it is crazy that I have to censor drawings of breasts.
But not goat nuts.
Nope, can show nuts all day. This was one of the more exciting titles for this month, I think, too. IFC releasing Bastards, the Claire Denis film from 2013. This is one of supposedly the darkest films. I've not seen this one yet. New audio commentary with Sam Deegan on this one. New visual essay by Alexandra Heller-Nicholas. And then an archival casting featurette with commentary by Claire Denis in there. We got a booklet in it as well. Claire Denis, any thoughts? Have you seen any Claire Denis films?
I haven't seen this one, but what's the one with a bunch of Foreign Legion people in the desert doing minivers? I'm blanking on the name, but I loved it. I thought it was
Beau Travail.
Yes, Beau Travail. And what it was Claire Denis also Trouble Every Day?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen those two. And that filmmaker does seem like they would make a film called Bastards.
Yep.
Yeah, this was a day one order for me too. I'm pretty pleased.
Brian says Bastards also very good, messed up but good. You're just describing Claire Denis. Saturn's Core releasing Living a Zombie Dream and Kitty Killers. These are from 1996 and 2001, and we've got newly restored director's cut on this, new audio commentaries with the director. It's Saturn's Core, so literally everything on here is just over the top. They put everything they can, kind of like I said about AGFA, just if you've got footage, we want to put it on the disc, and there's a lot on here. I've never seen either one of these, but they're from Springfield, just a couple hours from me. Have you seen either of these?
No.
Would imagine not. Most people probably haven't.
That is a great slipcover, by the way.
It is. I like the blurry guy behind him, and then the back is so different. Saturn's Core needs to put out the next volume of David Rock Nelson's titles ASAP. Well, they can take a couple months, I think.
Yeah. Also, if you've seen one David the Rock Nelson disc, you've probably seen them all.
They can take their time. Femme is the next Utopia release, and again, love this slip. Very evocative. This one says Jules' life and career as a drag queen is destroyed by a homophobic attack, but when he re-encounters his attacker, the deeply closeted Preston, in a gay sauna, he is presented with a chance to I saw your head move the corner of my eye. With a chance to exact revenge. Unrecognizable out of his wig and makeup, Jules infiltrates Preston's life, and in doing so discovers power in a different kind of drag.
Yep.
Yeah, this sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I will say that anytime someone is homophobic, they're hiding something.
Well, the trailer for this looks great, but I have to say that Jewel is quite recognizable. So I don't know about that, but you'll have to suspend your disbelief there. But the trailer really did look great. I'm looking forward to watching this.
Yep, can't wait to get this one in. Lost Prophet. This is the next VHS Hitfest title, and man, Dan was everywhere speaking up on this one, and he normally doesn't do that for every title, and I have a feeling this one is going to be one that a lot of people fall in love with. Another really great slipcover, just very interesting images to look at. This has a new 4K transfer from the original 16mm camera negative. Commentary with the director on here. We got the original 1991 cut transferred from the original Beta SP. Interview with Michael de Avila, the director. We got an interview with one of the actors. And yeah, this looks like a very interesting release. Humboldt, it is an entire face on the slipcover, not just a nose.
Oh, I thought it was like a swan. Okay.
Do you see the face now, Will?
Yeah, it's a nostrils.
Yeah, was the one that he wanted the most.
That's funny. I'm pointing at it like you can see what I'm.
Oh, right there. Got it. Next is She's Allergic to Cats. This is from Yellow Veil. This one says a lonely dog groomer searches for love, but his true passion is making weird video art that nobody understands. Yeah. Will you? I want you to say out loud that text you just sent.
It sounds like you guys are playing the bongos in there.
We have a window about 7 feet to my right, and
that's the fireworks.
Fireworks are nonstop.
It sounds like someone is shooting the fireworks directly onto their own roof, onto their aluminum siding.
Yeah. we had an eruption right when we started, and then it stopped almost instantly. It might be like Red Dawn over here.
This one is going to have interview with the director. We've got interview with the director and the actress Sonia Kinski in this as well. Commentary with Michael Reich and Mike Pinkney. We've got some Kickstarter videos, festival promo videos, a bunch of music videos and short films. 7 normal community theater film spoof video. That's interesting.
Oh, Peter Kaplowski does the interview there. So Peter Kaplowski is a good friend of mine, and he is one of the producers of In a Violent Nature. If you have yet to see that, I highly recommend it. If it's still playing theatrically in your town, go see it, or demand of your local film programmer that they put it on.
If you have a local film program,
if you do, I mean, you'd be surprised. But definitely catch that one if it hits Shudder, like it probably will.
All right, I think that's it. Yeah, next is the Melusine titles. The first one is from the Picorama line. We got The Spirit of 76 and Teeny Buns. Awkward title. Celeste, don't provoke me. Let's see. This one is going to have nothing on it except for the 2 features.
Nothing on it.
The other title, Misbehavin'. This is part of the Quality X line.
Is that another Vinegar Syndrome sublabel?
Yeah. This one's going to have quite a bit. We've got a feature-length audio commentary with the assistant cameraman, Larry Ravine, because you always want to hear an audio commentary by the assistant cameraman.
Well, he's probably the only last surviving witness to Misbehavin'.
That's true. We've got an image gallery on this, and then something they've been doing lately. This has an 11:17 Misbehavin' theatrical release poster in the limited edition. So check that out. Michael says, didn't Criterion put out Teeny Buns before? Let's see. Next one, or was that it from OCN? Yes, that was it from OCN. Will, thoughts overall on OCN for July?
That's a lot, y'all.
It is a lot. Well, I guess it's not the last one because they've been doing their daily deals thing. So we're going to be talking about Vinegar Syndrome stuff more.
Oh, we are? Okay, then I'll withhold my comment until then.
But first, Severin, A Dog Called Vengeance from 1977. This is the first North American disc release. And this is one that Antonio Isasi, that's probably not the right way to say it, but he wrote and directed this film. And we've got Angel Sala from Sitges doing an appreciation of this film. We've got an interview with the actress Marisa Paredes. We've got another interview on here. And their sales slate is shaping up to be something rather eclectic.
It is eclectic, but I think it's important because there's an ellipses in the title. You have to pause. This movie has a dog called Vengeance.
I didn't see the part where you're supposed to lower your voice. I'm sorry.
It just naturally happens when you pause like that.
That makes sense.
But to me, it reads A Dog Called Vengeance.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, interested in this one for sure. A couple more Scream Factory announcements came later in the day. The first is a 4K release of The Strangers from 2008. This has literally nothing new on it, except once again, they did the same thing. The 4K release is for the unrated version. Or wait, no, this is one they didn't. Let me see. The theatrical's on the Blu-ray, and that's it.
Man, that cover art looks like date night at my house.
Which one are you, Will?
It depends. We rotate.
Yeah, nothing new on this. No new special features. Kind of odd to take a scene from the film like this. This is kind of a spoiler for anybody that's not seen it. This is like one of the more memorable scenes from the film.
But everyone the marketing of this film for the last 15 years has always been about this is a home invasion movie.
Right.
So, it's not too shocking.
I guess. Then they're doing The Boy from 2016 on 4K. Have you seen this one?
Is this a doll movie? I think I skipped over this. I love doll movies. My boyfriend hates doll movies. He's definitely afraid of dolls, marionettes. One of our first dates was to see, what was the James Wan doll movie?
Annabelle.
No. Like a long time ago.
Oh, Dead Silence.
Dead Silence. Yeah, that was a real grip the handrest of the seat moment for him. I didn't see this one.
Oh man, that's really funny. This one, yes, it is a doll movie. It says Greta is a young American woman who takes a job as a nanny in a remote English village. She soon discovers that the family's 8-year-old is a life-size doll that they care for just like a real boy to cope with the death of their son 20 years prior.
Is there a reason that the character has to be American? Because I don't understand. Lauren Cohan is English.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Why does she have to play an American in an English manner?
It's a great question.
Maybe it's for the story. I don't know.
Scream actually did new features for this. They got a new audio commentary with Julia Cunningham and Emily Higgins. And then we've got some new interviews, multiple new interviews. And that's kind of surprising for Scream Factory lately. The Boy.
You know who
The Stepfather. I saw this for the first time a year ago, and I just fell in love with it. It was a perfect exploitation movie.
The Stepfather coming on 4K. This one is coming on September 10th. And surprisingly, this is getting some, like, a lot of new stuff. We get 3 new audio commentaries on this. So altogether, this will have 4 audio commentaries. And nothing else new. Or wait, no, there was. I think there was. Yeah, new interview with Jill Sholin on this one as well. That's pretty damn cool. Will, how do you feel about The Stepfather? You look
talked
jaded.
about that one before, didn't we?
No, this has not been announced.
Well, as a stepfather, I relate to this movie.
I saw this on film in New York at the Nighthawk, and
Wow.
It was a great show. Had a great time.
Great movie. Terry O'Quinn, pretty intimidating in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Good actor. They're also doing, speaking of remakes, the 2005 Amityville Horror remake with Ryan Reynolds. This is coming on September 3rd. Brett loves these announcements. We got a new Houses Don't Kill People revisiting the Amityville Horror with interviews with the director and composer on this, but that is all that is new.
Van Wilder 3, Family Life. Yeah.
I mean, is he good in this? Does he convey like horror movie protagonists very well?
Surprisingly, I don't hate his performance in this. It's fun.
Why is it surprising?
Because it's Ryan Reynolds who's been playing the same exact character other than the film voices for the last, 16 years?
What about Buried?
Has that been in the last 16 years? What year did that come out?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I mean, he's literally laying down the entire movie.
Well, that's different.
Kind of.
You know, Lauren Cohan was in Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj.
I did not know that.
So there's a connection between.
All right. So now you got to get this and The Boy.
And
They're also doing a 4K of Village of the Damned. This is coming on September 24th. This one has a new audio commentary with Jackson Stewart and Francis Galuppi. Fran Galuppi is the director of Last Stop in Yuma that came out this year. Also is the director of the upcoming Evil Dead film after Evil Dead Rise. And just as a very interesting aside, check out the channel next week for an interview with Francis Galuppi.
Cool.
I host a weekly show at Alamo in Los Angeles on Wednesday nights, and I convinced them to rent the 35 print of this movie for one of my shows. I firmly believe that the best 35 millimeter screenings are of mediocre 90s and 2000s movies because the prints are in great shape because no one ever books them. And I like to say that this is Carpenter's take on a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. Actually, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of Kirstie Alley's most devious performances.
It is.
Yeah.
Sibner says if Severin put this out, some of their eyes would light up on the cover. That's a really funny, timely joke. Yeah, Christopher Reeve is in this as well.
Yeah.
We've also got a couple other new interviews in here. We've got an interview with Daniel Schweiger, interview with the screenwriter David Himmelstein. We've got the Horrors Hallowed Grounds on this as well. Yeah, September 24th, another John Carpenter 4K. And if that's not enough for you, they're also doing one of their 7-inch vinyls that they do with Sacred Bones Records. You can pick this up. It's got an alternate slipcover, which personally it looks pretty poor compared to the original one, in my opinion. It's very boring.
What the that one?
Yeah, the color.
Oh, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that really strange Star Trek: The Motion Picture poster.
Oh yeah, it really does. Yeah,
that's it.
Last Stop in Yuma is one of the best films of the year. Highly agree. Highlight my comment, you coward. Shut up, Jeremy. Which one? Chloe Grace Moretz's first role. Is that in Village of the Damned?
She plays a zygote in this movie.
Amityville Horror. That's right. That was her first role. Forgot about that one. Moving right along. Sony Pictures. They are putting out a standalone 4K of Run Lola Run. This was originally in the Sony Pictures Classics 30th anniversary box set or whatever that box set was called. So now you can get this without spending like $210 on that big 10 disc set. So you can see this on 4K. Good movie.
Really good to double feature with sliding doors.
This finally came out, huh?
September 24th. Yes.
It's coming out. Yeah.
The Million Eyes of Sumeru, coming from Blue Underground. This is the extended version, newly found. I think they've got, let's see, they have it listed here. I think it's 10 or 18 more minutes, something like that, including 10 minutes of additional footage missing from the previous release. So this has new commentary with David Del Valle and Dan Marino, another new commentary with Nathaniel Thompson and Troy Howarth. And then they've got Schlock Cinema Legacy of Lindsay Shonteff, new feature-length documentary directed by Naomi Hallwill, 101 minutes. That's kind of impressive. We also have the Riff Tracks edition on this. That's brand new. You can pre-order this soon. Blue Underground 4Ks are kind of always like some of the more impressive 4Ks.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was one of the first to do it, as I recall. And he very Bill Lustig is a very savvy person, and I feel like he saw the 4K wave coming first before anyone else.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's kind of always on like the forefront of everything. Mm-hmm. Top tier 4Ks.
It was just a couple months ago I was talking about seeing this movie for the first time because The Girl from Rio 4K had come out.
Yep.
And I had the old Underground Blu-ray that had Girl from Rio and Million Eyes of Sumeru as a double feature. So I was watching Million Eyes of Sumeru to see if I needed to hold on to it or if I could sell it. And it was very entertaining, but I was like, yeah, I can sell it. And now looking at this extra footage, the documentary, I got to get it back.
It's a fun movie. It kind of feels like the late 60s movie that Jess Franco never made.
Yeah. Klaus Kinski's performance is interesting.
Is he dubbed with someone else's voice in this one?
Actually, I don't think so. I think it's his voice, but he came up with a performance that reportedly he thought was really funny.
Interesting.
And it is really funny, but not so much in a ha-ha way and more in a what is happening right now kind of way.
All right, that was Blue Underground. Next is the next cinematograph title. This is coming this month on 4K. Last Embrace from 1979, coming in one of their giant media book style releases, if that is your thing. You've got all the written essays on the inside with the 4K disc. This is it is an HDR10 that's not written on the website. Justin did confirm that. New audio commentary, by Howard Berger and Steve Mitchell. New visual essay by Sam Deegan, and then an archival interview with Michael Taylor. But that is it. Other than those written essays, which kind of odd to only include those two things in a big 4K fancy edition. I feel like they should have done more, but maybe not. Last Embrace. I know Will's excited about this one.
I'm not a huge Jonathan Demme fan, as I've said before, but I am really interested in seeing this film. This is a gap. I always want to see Demme movies. I still haven't found the one that really knocks me out outside of his music documentaries.
Oh, well, see Stop Making Sense if you haven't already.
Of course.
That's the best concert film I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's the gold standard. But
yeah, see Melvin and Howard, see Citizens Band, see even the ones that he wrote, like Black Mama, White Mama. That's one of the best movies ever.
I do like that movie.
Last Embrace. A lot of people excited about it. A lot of people not excited about the art on this.
It looks weird.
It is an odd choice.
Yes, filmed in Shiderama.
The next Vinegar Syndrome reveal was of 8 Eyes, which is from 2023, which is the first all Vinegar Syndrome production, supposedly. It's the first entirely original production. Coming on Blu-ray, and it will be in one of those hard slip boxes with a slip cover on the inside. Slips on slips on slips. This is supposed to be... Have you seen this one yet?
No, but it is a phenomenal slip cover. I think it's really striking. Yeah. It's a movie that I know nothing about, but it would lead me to want to know what it's
for sure. It's supposed to be great. It's the directorial debut of Austin Jennings, who works on The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
And a proud graduate of the North Carolina School of the Arts.
Never heard of it, Will.
That school, that university has one of the great 35 millimeter film archives in the country.
That's right. Peter Bogdanovich died here.
Will is in North Carolina and has been a professor at University of North Carolina, Greensboro for years.
Oh, cool. For years, I've had an email correspondence with Matt Jones, the archivist.
Oh, right on. Cool.
This one was shot entirely on film, finished in 4K. We've got a commentary with Austin Jennings on here with the producer and a couple other people. We've got some interviews, all brand new, of course, since this is a brand new movie. This looks like a great release title that we've been hearing about for the last year and a half or so. So excited that we finally get to see it. Stan says 6 eyes too many.
Technically, we're only seeing one eye on this cover.
That's true. And not even that, really.
Yeah.
All right, that is 8 Eyes. Chucky Season 3 is coming out in the UK on August 26th. You get the Good Guy edition that they've done of all 3 seasons so far. There's a lot in here. We've got 4 art cards, 32-page booklet, double-sided poster. If you don't want all this fancy packaging, you can just choose to get it in this steelbook that comes with the exact same discs and also comes on August 26th in the UK.
Wait a second. There are 3 seasons of this TV show? When did this TV show happen?
It's happening now.
Oh,
Season 3 just ended.
Okay.
John Waters is in Season 3.
Oh, so he's returning to the Chuckyverse.
Yes.
I see.
It's supposed to be great. I have not kept up with the TV show. Look, there you go. Ronnie even says it's great. Yes, there's a lot of Chucky recently. Stefano says, isn't there a Chucky release every week? It sure feels like it.
Well, that's the future we asked for.
Yeah. Next up, if you somehow have still not seen Joker, this is coming in a brand new Walmart exclusive 4K Steelbook on August 20th, and that's the time we're spending on it. Severin. Their next sale title is a big deal. 2020 Texas Gladiators from 1983. The worldwide 4K premiere 3-disc edition includes a soundtrack CD. This one, I don't even think had a DVD in the US, at least a legit one. Now, this is another super bootleg movie. This one's got the UHD on disc 1, the disc 2 Blu-ray that has some archival interviews, and then an interview with the actress Goretta, and then the bonus disc on there is the soundtrack CD. This is probably their second biggest title announced so far, and we should be getting their last sale title tomorrow getting announced.
So is that cover art? What is that? Is that Rollerball plus Death Battle Truck?
Rollerball plus Death Sport.
Death Sport. I mixed up Death Sport and Battle Truck.
Somehow. The classic conundrum.
Roller Death's
Roller Sport?
Roller Sport Truck Death.
This is great. Joe D'Amato and Michele Soave together.
One of like the biggest post-apocalypse titles that people have wanted for a long time. Yeah, that is that one. Babes from this year with Alana Glazer is getting a Blu-ray release from Decal.
I just saw the trailer for this in a theater like a month ago. It's already announced on this.
And not only announced, it's coming out in 1 month. That's it.
Boy.
This has deleted scenes. It's got the moms behind this, Alana Glazer, Michelle, and Pamela Adlin, all talking about being a mom on this.
I don't understand that tagline. The bridesmaids of baby making?
The movie Bridesmaids.
Right.
This is the bridesmaids for making babies rather than for getting married.
But
like raunchy comedy, probably.
Baby making?
Whoops.
Or
The movie is about making a baby. Yes.
Well, I think it would be more about baby having or baby birthing.
I don't know. She's literally holding a pregnancy test.
Well,
the baby making happened before the pregnancy test happened.
We don't know. It could be negative.
That's true. Although probably not, because you wouldn't have a movie.
Although it was probably negative many times and then positive once.
That's
a weird conversation.
It just confuses me. But
Children movie.
Well, I'm probably going to see this actually.
Yeah, I'm interested. Alana Glazer is pretty funny.
Yeah, she's funny.
Then Cinedigm releasing Here for Blood from 2022.
Wait,
September 24th. What?
Did you see that other baby making movie she was in? False Positive, I think.
No.
It's on Hulu. It's a horror movie.
Oh.
Well, it's a good niche. She should milk it for all it's worth.
Milk it.
I was about to say good word choice. I know nothing about Here for Blood.
False Positive. Yeah, that's what it's called. Oh, I'll check.
All right. Next, we only got a handful left, I think. Arrow sale is happening right now. Going from now, July 3rd through the 28th, up to 50% off. As usual, the big thing I'll harp on is if you have not shopped any Arrow sales before, go to the UK site rather than the US site. Hopefully you're region free. They have third window films titles, and they have what is the name of it? Second Run DVD titles, and most of Second Run is region free, and they do really great like art house Czech films that don't ever get US releases. So if you want those, they're normally like $10. The Arrow sale titles, Arrow titles are always on sale, it feels like. Check out the other two labels though; those rarely go on sale.
Yeah, but everything I wanted was sold out.
That was probably manufactured because they are targeting you.
The 10 star was sold out. 10 star was sold out. Witness was sold out. I was so bummed.
Mute Witness? Is that what you said?
Witness.
Oh, the Harrison Ford. Yeah.
Are we talking about Witness or Mute Witness?
It's just Harrison Ford and he can't speak.
I'm talking about Witness. I got Mute Witness.
I don't even know that title would have been on sale already, was it?
It's on the fucking sale and it says sold out.
I fucking got it. Thanks, Will. Arrow has more sales than Chucky releases. Maybe. Following that.
Oh, what a terrible. Is that the cover art?
No, it's just that's the theatrical poster.
Okay.
Smoke from 1995 is getting a Kino Blu-ray release at some point. We don't have a date yet.
That can't be the poster. That's got to be like the Canadian DVD release. That's gotta be. Or like the Madagascar Region 7 DVD release.
Heads up, this just got announced as coming from Imprint as a double header with what is the other title? I think Terry mentioned it here. Blue in the Face, yeah. Those are coming as a double feature from Imprint soon. So if you want both, most likely Blue in the Face will probably get announced from Kino here in the next couple of weeks. So either way, if you want to wait for a US, you can get that one, or head over for the Imprint.
Let me interject here real quick.
Please interject.
So I'm at the Camp Arrow sale. 10-star sold out. Shootist sold out. Warriors Blu-ray and 4K sold out. Tremors 2 sold out. Black Hat 4K sold out. Witness, you can get the Blu-ray, but the 4K sold out. Like, what the hell?
Sounds like a successful sale. Say that 5 times fast.
Either that or they only had 10 of each title.
I'm just bummed.
But also, it's a month-long sale. They'll probably come back in stock. Nothing. And silence.
I was hitting refresh.
Not the next 4 minutes. Give it a couple days. The big drop at Vinegar Syndrome today, since they are dropping something every day, is merch. And they gave us some new shirts. This is the Vincent Summer shirt. This is the Vinegar Sam shirt. It's a fun shirt.
Yeah.
And then the Vincent
Great
White shirt. This is amazing.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then we got a Madman hardcover book, which is rather funny. A brand new Vinegar Syndrome display rack, $175.
The hell's that thing made out of? It's only 2 shelves. It's $175.
Hey, it's bespoke.
It doesn't even have the logo on it. Does it come?
That's attached to it.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the side. Okay, well, that's worth the extra $100 then.
A reminder that they did put out a display rack before that was light brown, and so the dark brown one, this now costs $25 more. Just a heads up. Then we also got a Vinegar Syndrome water bottle. Yeah. Nice and quiet.
There'll be many pallets of that in their warehouse for years to come.
Then our final title to discuss, September 30th on 4K Steelbook in the UK, is The Killing Joke. This is a animated feature from 2016 that got terribly panned. Like, most people hated this film. But the art on here, really good. I really like the way this looks.
Was that the one where he makes Barbara Gordon paraplegic?
Yep.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, the book for that is really great.
Michael Smith says, wasn't Killing Joke a band? Yes, they were an incredible band.
Greatest band.
Yeah, and you should. I'm forgetting the name. Is it Nighttime? 1985. That's their best record.
Check out Democracy also. While you still can.
Right. Jesus. After the announcements, we always cover what is coming out next Tuesday, in case you forgot as well. We got Twister 4K coming from the studio, La Samurai from Criterion, that's coming in 4K, Civil War from A24, The Boy and the Heron 4K from Shout, Turbulence 4K from Kino Lorber, Challengers from the studio, Dark Angel. Will is probably already ordered 3 or 4 of those, I'm assuming.
I prefer the I Come in Peace.
Yeah, I know you like the I Come in Peace title. Abigail comes out next Tuesday. Ghoulies 2 in 4K from MVD. We've got one of the bigger titles for the year, Storytelling, coming out from Shout Studios. Couple more. The Rose Tattoo, Come Back Little Sheba, Street Scene, all from Kino. Country Girl as well. The Hairdresser's Husband. Boy Kills World is a big title for next week. I know a lot of people liked that. Carmen from 1918 from Kino Classics. Stress Positions getting a BDR release from Decal, I believe. Food Inc. 2, if you're into exploiting a documentary that did okay for more money, check that out. Hearts and Minds from Criterion. Yeah, that's it for next week.
Rose Tattoo is a great movie.
Any of those you're excited about or like or have seen or anything?
Oh, I don't like Twister. I thought it was stupid when I saw it as a teenager. I mean, it all looks good.
Lots and lots. So it is time to discuss AGFA. AGFA is...
if I move a little bit... All right, now we're in Challengers.
We're all together. Hitting on Brett. AGFA was like one of the first two or the first partner label to sign. Their titles have been a big part of Vinegar Syndrome even before being a partner label. They helped with DVDs of The Soul Tangler and Aunt Martha on DVD.
Well, the print of Super Soul Brother, which was one of the very first Vinegar Syndrome DVDs, was a print that came from our archive, I think, maybe, or not. I don't know. I can't remember. It's a movie that is very formative in the AGFA legend, Super Soul.
What are your feelings on AGFA as a whole, Will?
Positive. I love I mean,
because Brett's here.
As I was saying earlier, I've got almost the entire catalog that's been released through OCN, and the preservation work, the theatrical work. I mean, it's a vital institution. One of the best things
out there.
Yeah,
out there.
I was going to say one of the best things to come out of Texas, and yeah, I think so. I love AGFA. It took me a long time to narrow down to like 10 of titles that I have enjoyed the most of. Yeah, I'm just I'm like tongue tied about it. I love the work so much and appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you. We do it because we're compelled to.
Yeah,
that swam around in our brains for years, and through our partnership with Something Weird, and our desire to reach out to people who've never been asked to have their stuff on disc before. It's just like this compulsion. We can't stop, even if we wanted to.
It's a big deal. Yeah, there's been plenty of titles that I've been excited to see, plenty of titles I'd never heard of before I got them on Blu-ray from AGFA. And then beyond that, there are so many that are just feel important. I mean, I didn't pull She Freak down, but that's one that Will and I have both talked about before. I think he's going to talk about that one probably tonight. That is a big deal title. That's one of the ones that I recommend first and foremost when talking about AGFA. Sivner can hear Jeremy texting me during the show. Yeah, there's a lot that I could go on and on about, but let's just go into these. Will, why don't you share your first one that you want to talk about for one of your favorite AGFA releases? Tell us a bit about it.
Honorable mention to one that I have but haven't watched yet, which is the Rock-afire Explosion documentary, just because I experienced Showbiz Pizza as a child, and I'm looking forward to revisiting that nightmare. Well, yeah, you got to start with my boy Lee Frost, Defilers.
Classic canonical Something Weird tape title.
And not to mention also Smell of Honey, Swallow of Brine. I love Lee Frost. I've talked about Lee Frost on this show many times. Defilers is one of the defining roughies, and take that as you will. So I'm a big fan of this release for sure.
All right. First one I was going to talk about, I think it was on Brett's list as well. The AGFA horror trailer show. I mean, this just is everything about AGFA. Like the love of putting something new together that could have just been forgotten, and all scanned in 2K, which is crazy. And then extras on here. This is like the perfect vibe night type of viewing. Yeah. What do you love about AGFA horror trailer show?
Well, I like it because I made one of the special features on it, which is called Say Goodbye to Your Brain. And it was one of my found footage pieces that I was just inspired to do one afternoon when I realized I had too many. It was when I do found footage pieces, I'm often very cognizant of the AV quality. Like if something's not up to snuff, I won't use it in a found footage piece. I do try to have at least a minimal standard. So I had a folder. I was going through my hard drives and I had a folder that I got from somewhere ages ago that was all horror trailers, and I didn't know if I would be able to use them. But then I thought, well, what if I just used 1.5 seconds from every one? And that's Say Goodbye to Your Brain. Here's a I don't know if this is an exclusive announcement. I don't know what month it is, but we are doing a sequel to that trailer.
Sweet. Very exciting.
And that one's going to be a little bit more found footagey, cutty, edity than the first one. Still with all the original trailers uncut on the disc as well. But yeah, AGFA Horror Trailer Show, it definitely comes out of our ethos of making something out of nothing. Right. I think a lot of other labels aren't able to do that because they don't have an archive at their disposal. But we had a couple thousand 35mm trailers in a closet, and we're like, what do we do with these? And I'm like, well, I guess we're doing a trailer disc.
You see this? This is pretty cool. Shout out to Intermission Party, which was legit playing in the background of the 4th of July party I was at today.
Thank you. That means a lot. That does mean a lot.
You want to share one from that stack?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So this was AGFA release number 3 back in 2017 or 18. Bad Pussy. And it's been a running joke that will be our next 4K disc. But I don't know. But it definitely is one of the defining releases of ours because it is so out there. No other label would probably touch it. And it was an early declarative statement from us that this is who we are. This is what we do. And there was a lot of talk in the early days of the AGFA label of, we need to be connoisseurs of this stuff. We need to have a Grey Poupon moment for this kind of film. And to us, Bad Pussy is like, pardon me, sir, do you have any bad pussy? So it's just, it tickles me that people to this day talk about Bad Pussy. And then, so we used to be with MVD before we were with OCN. And so when we were going over to OCN, we were like, okay, we're eventually going to re-release all the MVD titles on OCN. But when the MVD run of Bad Pussy ran out, something happened that we never in 1,000 billion years thought would happen. Happened. We got 3 emails a week saying, do you have any more copies of Bad Pussy? And up to that point, we're like, what are we going to sell? 50, 80 copies of this over the span of a decade? But it turns out that this is one of our most beloved releases. So I love Bad Pussy, and I love the ugly ass tattoo on that guy's butt.
I could not possibly have written this better myself, but this morning before the world knew that Brett was going to be on tonight, I got a message on Instagram from somebody randomly asking, do you think AGFA will ever release another release of Bat Pussy?
A third? Yeah.
I don't know why, but like the fact that is still being asked about, to me, not even associated with AGFA, is hilarious to me.
Yeah, Bat Pussy will outlive us all.
Will, what do you got?
I feel like some of these are safer choices, but in a way I'm glad because there are definitely things that I want to highlight. Even though they might be better known. Sarah Jacobson collection is definitely one of those. Her work is really just raw and fantastic, and punk rock, I guess. And I just love this stuff. This collection is a really good way to spend an evening.
Mary Jane's Not a Virgin Anymore, to me, is a biopic of anyone who's ever worked in an indie cinema.
Yeah.
Speaks to me, having worked in an indie cinema for years before, and it's just a great coming of age movie, regardless of the setting.
Good release. When we said we were going to do this, I originally went to this first. Have to go with the Leather Boys. This is a Sidney J. Furie title, which, if you have been watching the show, Daniel Kramer, who is on this disc doing the commentary with Furie, has been shouting out Furie for a decade plus. This release is seminal, and I believe you're the only thing AGFA's done with Shout.
Yeah, it's a rare collaboration with Shout Factory, because we do a lot of their theatrical bookings. The conversation arose, do we want to start collaborating on disc releases? And that was an experiment. I don't know if we'll do another one, but I hope to do another one someday. And the Leather Boys just spoke to me, at least, because it's a lost piece of LGBT film history.
Great movie. Look at that. Ronnie says it's her favorite, and then we got Humboldt saying Leather Boys. All right, next for you, sir.
So this is your mileage may vary with the film itself, but this is speaking to the resourcefulness of AGFA, and that's Ed Wood's Take It Out and Trade. So this was a film that was considered lost for decades, and it was up to us to untangle the mystery, and we found the lone print of it. We actually found the relative of the producer who had it in their garage. That's always how it goes, right? And this was a film that was a personal like a mission of Joe Ziemba of AGFA to find, and he found it, and there you go. And is Rudolph Gray on this? Yeah, Rudolph Gray and Frank Henenlotter are on this track. And Frank Henenlotter is one of our heroes. I consider it a blessing that I even got to ever speak to him or know him. And it is a great torch passing from Something Weird to AGFA.
Amazing.
That's so funny, because I was going to hold up The Violent Years, which I hadn't watched yet until I talked to one of my mentors and friends, the great film critic Christopher Sherritt, who edited the book Planks of Reason, one of the great collections of horror film criticism, just a titan in academic horror studies. And he told me he had watched The Violent Years every day for like 10 days in a row.
I don't know what to think of that statement, but it's a very fun film. I actually saw a screening of it in LA somewhat recently at the Great Micro Cinema Whammy in Echo Park, and it was like 30 young people introduced to that movie for the first time, and they had a great time.
Yeah. So I watched it, and then I called the hospital to go on Chris. But
my next one, I think, is one of only 3 or 4 AGFA titles that I'd heard about before it was released, which I was very happy to get on Blu-ray. And that is the anthology Scary Tales. This is one of the ones that they did with Bleeding Skull. Do you know who did the DVD prior to this? It was somewhere out of Texas.
I don't know. I still haven't even watched that one. You can't watch them all.
This is a really fun SOV anthology that a lot of people might recognize that cover. Actually, it's one of the more famous pictures from it. It's just so homegrown and interesting, and this is where I love the AGFA extras, because one of the best things is they have the local news segment of, like, we have local filmmakers here, and let's talk about their horror anthology. And they talk about how they did the effects, and it was obviously something that was on at like 9:45 at night, and hardly anybody was going to hear about it. But the fact that they just, let's put that on the disc, is such a really cool way to archive all the things that go around the filmmaking, which we don't get a lot of, unfortunately. It's just lost to time usually, and it's not a terrible anthology. I know a lot of people hate SOV, but it's fun. It's a good watch, and it's really, really good. Yeah. Scary Tales. Yeah. What's next?
Oh, okay. So this was our first release on OCN, and it really showed us the possibilities of where we could go with them as our distributor. Jeez. So the McPherson tape.
Yeah.
Another SOV film, and I think it's really important. It's a fun movie, and it's also important as a release for us because it was featured heavily in a lot of those 90s, 2000s TV specials about like paranormal stuff. And the idea that people took it seriously as if it was real is hilarious to me. And the filmmaker Dean was very gracious in letting us do that release.
One that was talked about for a long time. So when it popped up, a lot of people were like, oh my God, I've been hearing about this forever, and I can finally see it. So.
Yeah. The slip cover is pretty good, but I really like the original cover. I love that stripy, that look. It reminds me of the shopping malls of my youth.
I had, I think I had a boot of that one, and that sold it to get that. Will, what do you got next?
Well, we can't get through this conversation without talking about,
of course.
Oh yeah,
Doris Wishman.
A years-long project for us. Yeah.
Oh my God! And then I will not torture you by mentioning the titles that I wish were in here, maybe for another volume. But this was such a godsend to me because every year in my cult films class, I teach a unit on Doris Wishman, and every year she gets at least one more rabid fan. At least one. This has so well the extras, the wealth of documentation, the restoration. Some of these films I never thought I would ever get a chance to see. So it's fantastic. Love it.
A lot of that was a project we enacted in like 2018. But there were so many things going on that we didn't know if we would ever have a completion date. And then the lockdown happened. So our restorationist at the time, Sebastian Del Castillo, said, okay, now's the time. We're going to plow through all of them. So we were able to, was it 2021 or 22 that we finally started releasing them? Will, what did you think of our backwards chronological release strategy?
It really messed with my preferred method of watching things, which is to take a director and go like chronological. But I dealt with it because I knew I was getting a gift that I didn't deserve. I don't know if that gives you any information about that's useful, but I was curious about it. What was the reason for going backwards like that?
Because we knew that the Chesty Morgan movies were the most sellable out of all.
Oh, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, because if we started with the Nudie Cuties,
right,
we would not have sold as many copies of all of them. Right.
You are correct.
We had many conversations about it, and we all agreed that the backwards strategy was the way to go.
Yeah, Nudie Cuties are best enjoyed in theory. Like documentaries about Nudie Cuties are always really interesting, but watching most of them, some of like Nude on the Moon is, well, that's not really a Nudie Cutie because it's got like a plot but yeah. Well, of course that makes sense.
All right. We talked about AGFA number 3, so may as well talk about AGFA number 2. I've got the 4K over there, but it doesn't have.
You got Tom Savini to sign that.
Doesn't have Savini in the front. That's cool. So, that's there you go. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to show it, because I brought this up to Tom, and I think it was the first one that he had seen in person. And when I handed it to him, he went, "Why?" and then signed it.
Well, at least he's reasonable about his own performance level, and he does look like he hit the nose candy before every take.
Oh yeah, fun movie, good release. I like that the After Effects documentary is on here, of course, and it was still your only 4K release, I think.
Today, yeah, we have a couple more in the pipeline.
Ooh.
I mean, eventually, like no dates or anything.
Did you hear that? More 4K from AGFA next month.
No.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
No.
Yeah, 4K in Will's hand. Yeah, you can get effects now. I really like it. It's a fun movie. What do you think of it?
It's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Yeah, and in the process of doing that release and then the 4K one, we got to know John Harrison and Rusty and the rest of the gang, and they're great people.
All right. What do you got next there, bro?
Oh, me? Well, okay, so that we had AGFA number 3, AGFA number 2, so we have to talk about AGFA number 1, the Zodiac Killer, which has gotten the most press out of any release we've done to date because it was in Entertainment Weekly. There was a whole piece about it. And it's yeah, like when this came out in 2017 or whatever, somehow we convinced Entertainment Weekly to write a whole, because the story of the making of it is just as interesting as the movie to me. So this was made by a guy who owned a bunch of pizza restaurants in Los Angeles, a pizza chain called Pizza Man, which in my youth I visited often on the west side of LA. And this guy who never made a film before said, we're going to catch the real Zodiac by making a biopic while the Zodiac killings were still happening. And we're going to catch the killer because the killer will not be able to stay away from screenings of this movie. We're going to catch him at a screening of the movie, and then we'll be heroes. So that didn't happen, but they screened the movie and it became a legendary exploitation movie. And I like it. It's fun. As the quote says on the cover, it's disturbing and effective, but it's also a romp. It's a good time. And I don't know. It holds a place in my heart as the thing that helped us kick off our entire operation. And I got to do a Q&A with the filmmaker Tom Hansen at the Egyptian Theater in Los Angeles.
Nice.
I wouldn't do that again. He didn't seem to have it all together at the time, but and he wasn't a filmmaker. He was just an entrepreneur who leapt onto a good opportunity. But if you love Something Weird Video, if you love exploitation, drive-in fare from that time, the Zodiac Killer won't do you wrong.
Hey, look who else is here. Canadian International. Another Son of Sam is also essential.
It is. Is that the B-side on this? Yes, it's the B-side, Another Son of Sam. The goofball movie.
I'm sure this had nothing to do with you, but did you know about the candle that you guys sold with it physically as well?
Oh, I totally forgotten about that. Yeah.
See it right there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. I remember. I barely remember us making that, but I do remember it coming up in our weekly team meetings. Like, what if I could do like a votive candle with the Zodiac Killer on it?
So, Will, any more that you want to talk about? I think Brett has one more. If you don't,
I'll do one more. This is one of my very favorite watches, the Bloodorama triple feature, which, if you have the stamina, I recommend doing as a triple feature. The middle film, Night of the Strangler,
with Mickey Dolan,
is just
grimy,
prescient, a perfect encapsulation of American history in the 20th century. Help Me I'm Possessed is absolutely bonkers. Carnival of Blood is actually also very much about America in the present.
I like Carnival of Blood a lot.
Yeah. That was with Young, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And I love the fact that this has a black and white trailer of Peeping Tom in the interstitials. Was not expecting that. I was watching. This is just great. I think I saw somebody else in the chat saying that this was one of their favorite releases too. Yeah, Mickey Dolenz. Just been. If you ever wanted to know, if you wanted to see a film about American race relations starring a member of the Monkees, this is the one.
You talk about the stamina. If I remember right, they're all fairly short, at least, right? They're all
like 70-ish minutes, 70. Probably. It was a great, fun thing to put together the hit play, and you watch all of it. Do we call it like the slumber party feature or something like that?
Yeah, 266 minutes of well, it was a solo slumber party.
Yeah. It was yet another case of making something out of nothing. Those were titles that we had kicked around for years and never Never knew if they could work as the A side, but when we looked to Vinegar Syndrome and we saw Vinegar Syndrome doing triple feature releases, and people got excited about the package as much as the movies themselves. So we're like, we could do that. And we did it. And we also did one called the Shakarama Video Party a little bit later after that release. That was so we inherited all of the Something Weird Video SVHS tape masters. So everything that they use to replicate their tape stock, we inherited that. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's glorious. It's all on these shelves in our office. And we just, when we're in a pinch, we're like, what can we do to throw together an interesting package? So that one is really notable for us because it was the first time that we packaged something quite like that.
Yeah.
Worked really well.
Yeah. And speaking of packages, we come to my absolute favorite release of ours to date. And I'm not saying that just because I was the co-editor on it. So that is our recent release of Hey Folks, It's the Intermission Time Video Party. Yeah. So Something Weird Video in the 90s released 6 volumes of interstitials, snipes, drive-in stuff. And it was just in a team meeting. We're like, what can we do? Sometimes these things come about because we have a hole in the schedule. We have a project that we're working on, and the restoration is taking longer than we thought. So we're constantly juggling, shuffling, 3-card Montying our release schedule, just like all the other labels do. And this one came together very quickly. And it's very special to me because in 1999, I was a video store clerk at Cinephile Video in Los Angeles. And on the eve of Y2K, when no one knew what was going to happen, I said to myself, well, if we're going to go out, if the whole world's going to go out, like in a bang, I might as well watch these tapes on the last night on Earth. So I took up 3 or 4 of the volumes, and the world didn't end, and I got a big face full of Intermission Time. So 25 years later, we're in a team meeting, and it comes up, oh, right, there's those Intermission Time tapes. Why don't we do something with those? And I immediately leapt out of my seat, and I was like, yes, we got to do it. And we have to do a mixtape that is like a jumbled, blenderized version of it. And so that's what I'm the co-editor of. Joe Ziemba and I cut that together. And my mandate to Joe was it had to feel like a descent into hell. That was very important to me because in 1999, I felt like we were all going on a descent into hell, and these visuals were what my descent was made out of.
To be fair, I kind of feel like we have been.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long, slow slide. But like the gross blackened hot dogs, the ugly pizza, the like impossibly stupid local promotion snipes, it speaks to me in a way that a lot of the other stuff maybe doesn't. And so I was also very tickled when this became one of our best-selling titles. Sold out very, very quickly.
I'm so pissed off. I missed that first run.
It shocked us. We didn't know. To us, it was a stopgap release, and it turns out it's like one of our iconic releases.
Canadian International Amazing Release, great record too.
Oh yeah, so Lisa Petrucci of Something Weird has done an LP version of this.
Oh wow.
Terry says, very glad that Hey Folks got the Blu-ray upgrade, even if I just bought the DVD a few years back when something discontinued.
Mm-hmm. If you go on the Vinegar Syndrome website, almost all of the customer reviews of it say the same thing. It's great to put on at a party.
Yep.
And that's true.
Which, I mean, a lot of the AGFA releases kind of have that going on. And then there's a lot of trailer comps. If you like trailer comps, there's a lot of trailers on many of the AGFA releases, which I love trailer comps. They're fantastic. I was actually going to mention this next. Really appreciate how AGFA often includes LGBTQ-themed vintage short films as extras. Consenting Adults, A Study of Homosexuality on the Leather Boys release is especially incredible. Even just doing A-side titles of things that are even close to that. Like, other than Altered Innocence, who else is really doing that?
That's true. Oh, Gay Girls Writing Club. We didn't pull it, but that's another really iconic release of ours. Glow. The Gay Girls Writing Club release was all the material was sitting at UCLA Film and Television Archive, and had just never been nobody had ever done anything with it, and it's pretty much PD, public domain, because all the participants in the making of the films are unknown, and if they were known, they probably aren't around anymore. Right. And it's just a case of if we ask nicely, maybe they'll say yes, and UCLA said yes, so we got to do that release.
Amazing. Yeah, lots of LGBTQ full A-side films, bonus features. Stuff that's not in the works, but like what's a dream release? Like, obviously Intermission Time is a big deal for you. Is there anything else like that you would like, man, this would be amazing?
Oh, well, I mean, I kept saying to everybody that the Fugazi movie, we should do a restoration on that, but I don't know if that'll happen.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Any thoughts on AGFA outside of that, Will?
I feel like I could hold up. I'm looking at the shelves plural that my AGFA releases are on. I feel like I could hold up each one and talk about what I love about the release. It's just uniform. It's such important work in rescuing the real voices of people. I mean, these are filmmakers outside of the system for the most part, telling stories, right, like that don't get told, or telling stories that don't get distributed, don't get seen, and that's what draws me to it, the uniqueness of all these voices, because they're filmmakers who are completely operating outside of the formal rules. And I like that. Sometimes I get a lot of shit because I don't like modern studio movies. And sometimes I resist it and say, oh yeah, I like some of them, but actually I don't. You're right. I don't like modern studio movies. I like these movies. I like weird people showing weird images.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One more title that I probably should have grabbed. I would love to hear you try to explain Final Flesh to anybody.
Oh, you were scrolling through our releases, and yeah. It caught my eye. So I am a big fan of Vernon Chapman, who was co-creator of Wonder Shows and The Heart She Holler and Xavier Renegade Angel. So back at my video store that I worked at in the 2000s, Cinephile Video in Los Angeles, Vernon was a customer. And early on in our run of the store, he dropped off a tape of something called Kids Show, which was the pilot for Wonder Shows. And we always used to recommend it to people and push it on people. So then when I became a film programmer at Cinefamily in Los Angeles, RIP, Vernon came around a lot. We did a lot of events with him, and Final Flesh was one of the events that we did with him. And I can't remember who brought it up in the weekly meeting. It might have been Joe, but it was another case of, why don't we just ask? Maybe he'll say yes, and he did. And it was a co-branded release with Drag City, the record label in Chicago. So for those who don't know what Final Flesh is, you're familiar with Wave Productions? Yep. Okay, so a lot of people watching this might be familiar with Wave Productions. They were like a custom-made fetish video SOV horror company. Those kinds of companies still exist, where you can pay a company like $1,000 and you get a custom made porno short that these cast members will act out for you. So Vernon decided to send in like an apocalyptic, absurdist, Dadaist play with no XXX stuff in it, send it into one of these companies and just have them produce it. And it turned out really well. So he's like, I'm going to keep doing that. So Final Flesh is made up of 4 different short films where he sent in an absurdist script to a custom porno company, and then he got back the result. And so the result is Final Flesh.
What a story.
Yeah.
That is, it's something that the day it was announced, I had never heard of it. And everybody that had seen it, which was not many, just coming out of the woodwork to say, this is something you have to see to believe. It was like, well, first off, it's AGFA, so yeah, but like, mind-blowing release, like easily one of the greats. Should have pulled that one out too. Absolutely love Final Flesh.
Yeah. Someone in the chat is mentioning Smut Without Smut. That was a brief series that we did a few years ago where we took the pornos and we cut the porn out of it and just left the rest. One of them is Smut. Did we do a disc of Smut Without Smut Satanic Horror Night?
I think so.
Okay, that happened. And then Things to Come was a Smut Without Smut. Sadly, that was a limited edition one, and I don't know if that'll ever be reprinted. That was a fun release.
Oh man, I could talk about all these all night. The other big thing, wanted to go back to your show. Any archives that they can go back to, or any episodes that you highly recommend they check out?
Oh God, well, so Museum of Home Video is a live stream that I do every Tuesday night. It starts at 7:30 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday, and I've been doing it since July 2020. If you're familiar with Everything is Terrible, it's kind of in that vein, but my focus is more about the history of showbiz, talk show clips, game show clips, commercials. I love old commercials. I'll make edits of old commercials all day long. I'll take movies and I'll cut them down to size, and I present it in a kind of college radio type format. I like to say it's college radio for the eyes. It's the reason television was invented. I stole that from UHF, from Weird Al. Weird Al's UHF was a big influence on me growing up, so I thought I'll take my college radio background, because I used to be on KXLU in Los Angeles for 10 years. I take the college radio background, and I'll take the movie presenting background that I did at places like Cinefamily, and I'll squash it all together and do a found footage show every week. Originally, it was supposed to be an IRL show in Los Angeles, and it was going to start in June of 2020. But because we couldn't do that, we pivoted to online. We started on Twitch. We were on Twitch for 2 years until they booted us the fuck off. And now we're on our own website, museumofhomevideo.com. We, of course, have a Patreon where you can rewatch any episode. We've now hit our 200 episode milestone. We also have a monthly music video show called Music Videodrome. We have a kids show called Playtime, even though it's really for adults. And there's other shows that we've had over the years that are no longer happening. Oh, there's one called New York Nights, which is done by my film programmer friend Adam Barron, who does stuff at Anthology Film Archives. And it's my own pirate TV station, and it's great, and I love it. And anybody who's watching this show right now will probably be into my show.
Highly recommend checking it out. Not much else to say. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. This was really impromptu. I emailed you like 3-4 weeks ago saying I'm coming through Kansas City, and I'm doing a show at the Stray Cat Film Center tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So thank you for letting me crash here, and then thank you for letting me talk about AGFA, because it's one of my greatest passions.
It's one of mine too. Everybody, obviously, if you're watching this, you should have at least one AGFA disc, and if you don't, lots of recommendations tonight, lots that you can choose from. It's been a big deal to have AGFA be, obviously in front of a lot more eyes. On the Vinegar Syndrome website. They've hit a lot more households than you probably would have without that. So I'm glad that people are into it, and it's been an amazing night. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're doing this show. Because we've done interviews with other people who do shows about the Blu-ray world. And I found your line of questioning to us and just your attitude and your outlook to be so helpful and fulfilling to us, because it means that people out there actually get what we're doing. So thank you. I totally forgot to say this, and I don't know if we should say this, Will, but Will and I actually cut a snippet of yours and Joe's interview on my channel and put that into a commentary on a disc, because it was so. Was that Nail Gun, or was it something else?
So we're in the middle of it. Like, what's the context?
The context was we were talking. So we were in the middle of recording the commentary, and I ad-libbed a kind of discourse about people who kind of punched down at the movie, people who watched it in a so bad it's good kind of way. And it reminded me in the moment of the interview where and shit, I'm gonna forget the exact wording, but it was like you start out with like what the fuck is this? And you end up with
oh yeah. Well, okay. So what I said, and because it's a spiel, I tell to people, we're in a new era of film viewing. So in the 70s, 80s, 90s, it was so bad it's good.
Right.
In the 2000s and the early 2010s, there was an evolution, and it became, what the fuck? Like, yeah. And now we're in a new era, a more empathetic era, where the question is not what the fuck. The question is, why does this exist?
Yes.
You go into viewing a movie, whether it's effects, the Leather Boys, Zodiac Killer, or like the new Avengers movie or whatever. If you go into thinking about it, why does this exist? You're putting yourself in an empathetic position to try to understand what the filmmaker was trying to do, or attempting to come to an understanding of what they were trying to do. And that is AGFA's MO. It's about why does this exist and not what the fuck? Although, a couple of them you could say, what the fuck? But really, that's our overall thesis, is why does this exist? And it's a fun game to play because there are always 100 different theories as to why any particular movie does exist, especially if it's strange, right? Especially if you don't understand where the filmmaker's coming from. If you ask yourself that question, you can maybe come to an empathetic answer.
Yeah, that spiel is perfect. And so, I didn't remember the exact wording. And so when Ryan was editing the commentary, when I got to that part, there's this little insert what Ryan says. Basically, the correct words will come now. There's like that snippet of you saying that, and then we get back into the commentary.
Well, all that to say, the interviews matter. Like people's feelings behind these releases. People, I mean, not to get like philosophical about it, but there are certain labels that you can tell really don't care a lot about the shit that they're putting on discs. And with AGFA, every single release is like, why does this exist? Why is this something that they believe society should see, or people that trust AGFA's curation will enjoy or find something memorable about? And literally, from McPherson Tape to Zodiac Killer to Aunt Martha Does Deadly Things, like there's something about every single one that you walk away from going, well, that was at the very least very interesting. Which is
and I think through osmosis, people will understand this concept and apply it to other things in their life, and hopefully that brings us to a better understanding of each other.
Yeah, because I mean, what the next stage, which I occasionally reach, is I'm so glad this exists. And I think that the expansive viewing opportunities, right? The wide array of different kinds of lost and neglected and misbegotten and mongrel films just give us such an opportunity to learn about humanity. So,
did you know we were going to get deep when we started this tonight?
Once again, all the AGFA links are in the description below. Check out Bret's show, obviously.
Someone was saying, what is the website where Bret does his show?
Yeah.
It is museumofhomevideo.com.
Pretty memorable. museumofhomevideo.com. I will add that link. I forgot to put that one in this morning. I just copied from the old AGFA show. I'm sorry. If you're in the Kansas City area, which I know multiple people that will be watching this in the next 24 hours, and you want to go check it out, come to the Stray Cat tomorrow. Friday, it will be there live. And this has been great.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. Will, thanks for hanging out. I know that Will doesn't always shoot for 3-person shows, but this has been super fun.
No, I'm so honored to be here. So nice to meet you, and best of luck with the show tomorrow. I wish I could make it to Kansas City.
Hopefully next year we'll make it to the East Coast.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's an Alamo right here in Raleigh, so.
Last time Will tried to fly here, his plane almost blew up on the way here.
Oh, shit.
All right. thanks for hanging out, everybody. Next Thursday is going to be another good one. A couple more interviews coming on the next week. We will see you next time.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.